welcome to the Dr. Greg Show, January 6th, 2026. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you're having a good day on this anniversary of treason. It was an awful thing that happened. One of the worst things that's happened in our country's history ever. And yet again, how a string of unaccountability in our history, absolutely wild, that people never really were actually got off, that were actually, they were in jail and then they weren't because another criminal let other criminals go. Absolutely insane. I still remember where I was when I was watching that. I was in the lab and I couldn't believe what was actually happening. The insanity and the whitewashing, the post hoc, all these Republicans coming up and seeing and realizing that day how awful it was, and then turning around and saying it's actually okay, saying, hey, you know what? It was actually just a tour. I still can't believe it. It's so wild to me. These people are just, it's absolutely gross. Azalea, I saw that they said something, but I haven't seen it. And yeah, maybe we can see it. What's up, Dave Marvin? How's it going, man? How's it going? I see it. All right, guys. Well, we already have someone in the chat. We already have someone lined up in the guest request. So let's keep it going. Let's do all the TikTok things. Let's do all the shares, if you could, please. The likes, the reposts. Also, guys, on this side, right down here, the yellow, the orange, whatever arrow color that is called, right down here. This is the Service Plus button that we are using to submit questions. So let's say you have a question or you want to say something. I can't really read the chat while we do this thing because I'm actually engaged in these conversations. I'm really trying to pay attention here. But through Service Plus, you can actually submit your questions, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going through the Service Plus DMs after in between these debates. So if you want to submit a question, or if you have an idea, or you want to say something, the Service Plus button right there. That is how we are doing it. So thank you. Nice, Bear. Nice. Absolutely. I love that. Okay. All right. Hi, Father. Thanks for waiting, brother.
Hello.
Hi, Father. What's up, man?
Hi. I did not see the question thing, so I probably just would have done that. But I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So I'm kind of new to like climate change and like biology stuff. I usually do like political debates. I'm your standard liberal, but I'm not really well versed on climate change and vaccines and stuff like that. So I was wondering what like sources or what like videos or what books or literature, like what generally would be your advice to like start off on that like baseline path?
Yeah, great question. On this stuff and any other question, actually, I always agree educating yourself on primary resources. So things that are the actual analyses that experts are using in order to make those conclusions. And internationally, that is all that is recognized as the IPCC reports. So the International Panel for Climate Change, and that is 10,000 scientists all around the world coming, making figures, and they make a really long report. It's about 1,000 pages, but thankfully that they have shorter versions for policymakers and laymen. So you can read that, and they have about like 8 figures that really go through and really do a really, really good job of telling you why and what's going on. That would be the best place to start, because then it gives you the actual science and the actual, the people that actually know what they're talking about, and you can educate yourself, what they're doing. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. Well, that was the only question I had. So thank you for having me up.
Yeah, nice.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Peace. All right. Go into the Service Plus questions. Let's see what people have. Is there a walkout for January 9th or 20th? I don't know. Is there? Are people doing a walkout? Is that? I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know if that's happening or not. Um, yeah. I mean, usually that kind of stuff. I mean, as long as you're doing more than just the walkout, I think that's the biggest thing. Trying to, it's the 20th. Someone's saying it's the 20th. So, as long as it's just more than that, I think that's big. The biggest direct political action that you can do, is being involved at your local level, being involved in your school boards, being involved in your city hall commissions and boards, and doing that kind of stuff, not sitting passively. I mean, that is something that the Republicans do a lot better than the Democrats, is actually be involved with civics. And I think that, we have to be more involved. It's not just Koch brothers, guys. People are on the right just more involved. And I think that that's to our detriment, unfortunately. So, do what you can, get involved. I mean, 5 hours a month isn't much to ask for. And you can have a huge impact just by showing up. Show up, and that can have a huge impact. So definitely. Hey, Hazel. What's up, Ducray? How's it going? Azalea. We got Steph and Razio here. What's up? Bare Necessity. Hi, Bob. All right, guys. Thank you for the Zohar, thank you. Appreciate you. Help us. I'm so outnumbered by conservatives in my local government. Well, Azalea, that means that your voice is even that more important, right? That you are needed that much more in order to make a difference, to make your voice heard. If you don't make that voice heard, and you don't go to those meetings, then your perspective really is lost. So yeah, absolutely. Hey, how's it going, Ness? Hi, Jess Kristen. How are you? How are you doing, Ness? On the anniversary of treason and treachery in the United States, I really do think it's the worst thing that's happened in our country since the Civil War. I can't get over how it's so, just like the Civil War, it has been completely changed in people's minds. It's being okay that what happened is not that big of a deal. And I absolutely hate it. I'm shattered, but I'm flying to Italy this afternoon. Oh, wow. Cool. Fun. That must be fun. Yeah, guys. So anyway, luckily only like one MAGA family showed up for the march today. Oh, okay. That's cool that you had a march. I didn't know. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, MB, that sounds good. Oh, please tell me how liberals are traitors. Please join. Please join. I invite you up. I invite you up. They never do. They never do. I don't know. That's just wild. It's wild to me. I don't know how people have hundreds of people in their guest requests, and I can't get a single one of you guys up here ever. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. Oh, he only has. Oh, he doesn't have he doesn't have the permissions to. Oh, I'm gonna expose myself as a fraud. Please, again, please come on up, man. It's wild to me. The moving present. Okay. Do you move people? I don't understand. Are you a mover? That's cool. All right. All right, guys. Well, as we sit here, hopefully we can get some. I know. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. Just remind me which party got curb stomped and now extinct. Yeah. Okay, please come on up. Please come on up. Please let me know. Please let me know. I mean, you can't talk that big game in that how strong you are and how you are all that, a man of strength, and yet you sit here and say this nonsense in chat and hide behind your keyboard. Envy, how's it
Hello.
going?
Oh my gosh, hold on.
We can do whatever we like. Yeah, you can be a coward and you can be a traitor. Yeah, absolutely. You can do whatever you want, but you're still those things. So, absolutely. Hi,
Hey,
Envy.
sorry about that. You were on my watch. I just got like a fake Apple Watch, so I'm getting used to it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working out. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, I wanted to, since that guy is such a fucking coward, I wanted to come up here and hopefully I don't get banned for that. I wanted to come up here and talk about how I was an anti-vaxxer and I came into your life and now I'm not. And now I'm going into STEM. And I wanted to say one of my first classes, besides like the basic English and math, is going to be Chem 139. So super stoked for that.
Nice.
And I'm also going into environmental biology and have all of these biology classes that I get to take. I'm going to show them to you if you want to see them.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on.
biology is pretty cool. Dang. That's
Look at that
awesome.
list that I get to
Wow.
choose from. Look at all that.
That's fun. It's a lot of fun there.
Yeah. So if this guy wants to be a coward and not learn anything about science, he can do that. But everybody has access to FAFSA, so you can learn if you want to. That's all I have to say.
Nice. True. Very true. Very true. Envy. Thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for coming up and doing like before and now, and I'm so happy about it. Man, I'm so excited for your journey. Genuinely, it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be awesome.
I appreciate you, Dr. Greg. This guy needs to come up here and stop being a
Hi,
coward.
Mackenzie.
Okay.
Lucy, so, you often mention the Danish study. It was done on Danish children who have received far less vax. So the study was on the adjuvants that are added to vaccines. So basically, if the adjuvants were poison and the vaccines changed their adjuvants over time, you would have seen the levels correspond with neurodivergence, and that's what you don't see that with that study. So that's the idea. So it's still awesome, and it's still amazing that they did that. I love that we are trying to be more like Denmark. This is so cool. I cannot wait for single payer, private provider healthcare. He could call it Trump care. Let's call it Trump care. Let's see it. And let's see what he's got. So, but of course that's not going to happen because they're not actually trying to improve anyone's health. Yeah, TMP, you're allowed to be here. You're not. Yeah, I know you're trying to martyr yourself, and you're trying to be persecuted and be like, oh my gosh, like this big bad guy pushed me out because I was speaking the truth and stuff. But we don't do that here. We don't ban people or kick people for saying wrong things in chat. And you're welcome to hate watch me. You're welcome to be in chat. And thanks for being here, dude. Keep it up. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, absolutely, TMP. Thank you for being here, man. Laurel T, yeah, he exactly is a concept of a plan. I mean, if his concept of a plan is just to mirror what Denmark does in full, then like let's see it. So, Yeah, Ducre, I know. I see you guys inviting him. Heather's spam inviting him right now. Um, again, it's just it's a lot of people are afraid. Are afraid, dude. It's okay. They're afraid just like their dear leader is afraid. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Unfortunately. Yeah. Um yeah, I think the vaccine rescheduling is very odd. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, especially when you have a spike in respiratory viruses that is going around, and you have even the CDC, RFK's own CDC, already this year recommended in the response to Australia, Japan, the UK, all having this outbreak of flu, and we saw it coming, guys. We knew that it was coming. They said, the CDC, RFK CDC said and recommended the flu shot for all people 6 months and above. So they already made that. They already made that recommendation this year. And I just want to say, as the head Republican said on the Senate subcommittee for health, I think what's his name, Collins or something. He is a physician. He's which is wild to me, and he was the deciding vote on RFK becoming the head of the HHS, and he said as long as RFK maintains vaccine access, then it's okay. And he obviously got hoodwinked, just like Susan Collins. He got Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy. Thank you, Azalea. And he said today that the vaccine schedule is not a mandate, which is true. The vaccine schedule from the CDC means nothing, and physicians should not listen to it. You should, and if you are a father or you are a mother of a child, it is your moral obligation to be a good parent and get them vaccinated for as many things as possible, regardless of what the CDC says. You should still be getting those Hep A, Hep B vaccines, and if you don't, you are a bad parent. That is the absolute truth. So please heed the warning of countries that do not have vaccines and the diseases that are rampant in their countries. Please listen to the Lucy. So what you're doing there is you're multiplying the amount of vaccines times the amount of shots. And that's not how it works, Lucy. So you're just using incorrect numbers, and you're inflating the one on 72 and you're decreasing the one on 11. So you get a lot more than 11 shots in Denmark. And if you actually followed Trump's advice, which is to get more shots instead of less, to spread out the vaccines, guess what? That inflates that number that you're talking about. So again, it's nonsense. The modern schedule, well, you said a wrong thing, Lucy, so why would I read what you're saying? I did read it. I'm just not going to read it out loud because it's a wrong, incorrect, misinformation thing. So I'm not a parrot. I'm not a dog. I don't bark when you tell me to bark. I'm sorry. The point is that Trump and RFK have no idea what they're talking about. And the United States isn't Denmark. Denmark is a country has less population than a lot of our cities. Okay. And if we adopted entirely what Denmark had, then maybe it makes sense, right? Where we had single payer private provider systems, where a lot of these people are connected to their physicians. Maybe that's okay. That is what they talk about, right? in the Denmark study that we talk about. If you actually read that paper, they do talk about how connected Denmark as a culture is connected to their physicians. So I don't think that, you know, maybe they're catching these things early. I don't know. They're not that high of a population. But the reality is that the United States geographically is very distant from one another. We're a very large landmass. We aren't very connected to our physicians and our pediatricians and that kind of stuff. So it makes sense to vaccinate more in order to try to have some stopgap. That's just what it is. Ribriscal, can you at least admit the medical cathedral just justifiably lost all credibility since COVID? No, absolutely not. And that's not correct at all. So it is only the Republican Party that has fallen into this conspiracy crisis in regards to medical science. And that's what all the polls show. That's what all of the data shows. This is specifically a right-wing phenomenon. And if the medical science lost all credibility, you would see a drop in Democratic support as well, and you just don't see that. So again, it's just a Republican phenomenon driven by derangement and subservience to Trump. That's basically it, because it's not driven by science, it's not driven by data, it's not driven by analysis at all. So that's what it is.
Hey, how's it going?
Josiel, how's it going, man?
Again, I'm not coming to like argue and say I know more than you, because I really probably don't. I just want to understand from my knowledge. Climate change is always happening in history, no?
Yeah.
So what makes this one different? Like the one that we see currently.
So basically, the parts of the climate in the past, a lot of them, the vast majority, 99.999% of it, humans weren't alive. So we actually, we kind of find ourselves in a predicament where we need the climate to kind of stop changing enough so that humans can habitate, like have the earth as a habitat that can actually, make us live here. So if the climate changes so radically, to a point that existed 1 billion years ago, 2 billion years ago, that's just not going to be a place that's going to have plants that are going to be able to sustain human life, that are going to have farming that's going to have to be able to sustain human life. So we do really need to keep it, in kind of like a little Goldilocks zone. Absolutely. And, basically the humans are damaging the environment. So it's damaging the productivity that and the services, it's called ecosystem services, that the environment actually gives to us, that actually allows us to live. So if we harm the environment enough, we're basically not going to be able to live here anymore. And that's going to cause the extinction of the human species, and that's just not okay. So that's important to realize. And this is done in a lot of different ways. It's not done just in CO2 ppm. I think that, to be honest with you, we kind of focus too much on CO2 ppm. I think that we can look at a lot of different things like animal extinction rates. We can look at habitat extinction rates. We can look at pollution. We can look at a whole host of things. And we see, along with CO2 ppm, we see that at the center of all of these things, all of these processes, is humans. And we know that humans are the center of it based off of a whole host of different types of sciences too. So biology, chemistry, physics, all of these studies are all showing and pinpointing humans as the cause of it. So we have to use our technology in order to keep the environment in a way that allows us to live here, and we have a lot of impact right now for humans 100, 1,000, 10,000 years ago. In the future. So 100, 10,000, 100,000 years in the future. We have a lot of impact on them now. And I think that we have like the moral obligation in order to think about that and to conserve as much as we can for them.
Okay, that was a great explanation, by the way. I don't want to misconstrue anything you said. Maybe. So, what do you think is the biggest like factor with climate change? Like, what is humans specifically doing that you think is um the affecting the most the climate? Is it global, like affecting the atmosphere, or is it like hunting things until extinction? Like, what aspect do you think is the most damaging?
Well, it all comes down to like extinction at the end, right? Like if we put too much CO2 in the atmosphere, it's going to create a world where it's not, animals and plants can't live here. So there's going to be mass extinction events, and we're not going to be able to live on Earth anymore. Just kind of like how Venus is like just a huge CO2 ball, and it's super hot on the surface, and nothing's able to live there. And I think the thing that we have to think about now, and what we should look at, is honestly the extinction rates. And I mean, you can just look at it's called megafauna. So megafauna is basically anything that's bigger than like a coyote or a wolf. We've hunted them to extinction in the United States and in North America. So there's actually, if you go to the San Diego Zoo, there's actually a great exhibit on this. They talk about the megafauna, the thousands of different types of megafauna that used to exist in North America. And then 10,000 years ago, when the mini ice age kind of like went away and humans could habitat this land, they all were hunted to extinction basically with humans being introduced. So we're talking about like ground sloths. We're talking like giant ground sloths that were 6 to 8 feet. They're basically as big as grizzly bears. You had like the North American lion. You had there's tons of different things, man. You should check it out. Yeah, megafauna in North America, and see like what used to live here. And when I did a road trip from San Diego to St. Louis recently, and it's just I couldn't get over how much like vegetation was just sitting there. And normally you'd have herbivores that are kind of eating that vegetation, and because it's just good plant matter that herbivores need in order to survive. So you would have, or that's a niche. That is a niche to eat that grass, right? And there's just all extinct, man. It's all gone. It's not just buffalo that went extinct, but it's nearly extinct. Buffalo's functionally, I mean, how many thousands are left? It's insane. And it's sad. It's really sad. I live in San Diego, and I snorkel at La Jolla Cove, and I can't get over. It's crazy. There's this thing called the Steller sea cow, Stellar sea cow, and basically they were the Pacific Ocean's manatees. So in Florida, they have the manatees that are basically herbivores. They eat like algae and stuff like that, and small stuff. And that was the Pacific Ocean's version of that. And we hunted the Steller sea cow to extinction within 17 years. 17 years. We hunted them to the extinction. It was like the early 1800s. And I think about that, like, and it's not just like when I snorkel there, it's not just like the Steller sea cow that I can't see. That experience to swim with the Steller sea cow was been robbed from me. It's also like giant bass fish and stuff like that. There's in Coronado, there's pictures of these guys that have like, they're excited to like hold up all these, these catches. And it's like, well, guys, you hunted them to functional extinction, and now I don't have that. Why are they proud of that? Why are they proud to take away all these magnificent animals and robbing these people from those experiences going forward? So I think that like we should focus as humans. It's easier for us to understand extinctions, and animals aren't there anymore. They're gone. Animals dead, animals gone. It's a lot easier for people to understand rather than like CO2 ppms, which exists and it's a problem, okay? But how are you going to look up at the sky and analyze CO2 ppm? How are you going to see that versus like the lived experience of like an animal has died, an animal is gone, an animal is extinct?
Right, right. I completely see your point. Maybe the only thing I would say is that just by the history of evolution, 99.9%, like something like that, of all species that ever lived are extinct.
Yeah.
So is extinction per se a bad thing? Like that's maybe the point I'm getting at. That I understand what you're saying. Like hunting them to extinction, I wouldn't say it's a good thing either. But I'm saying at the end of the day, like, isn't this just the progress of Earth during this age? You know what I mean? Like the extinction of said species that just didn't evolve rapidly enough for the changes as well.
You're right. You're right. It does happen. But what's happening is that it's like saying wildfires exist. So if I started my own wildfire, isn't that okay? And it's like, well, no. Like that a natural process of wildfires, of having that natural reclaiming of decaying matter and stuff like that's a good process that's actually needed in ecology. We know that that's a good thing actually. But every human going around and starting a wildfire, well, that's not good. That's not good at all. So the extinction rate, adding to the extinction rate and driving more and more things to extinction is only a bad thing. And basically what happens, it's called a trophic cascade in ecology. That's the term. And basically when we remove one, it has a huge impact down the line on things that we don't even understand. So the best case that we kind of like studied is that show Davy Crockett. Everyone wanted an otter skin cap, like an otter skin, like the thing with the Davy Crockett cap. So what happened was that everyone started hunting sea otters. So and where was a good place to get them? Alaska. So everyone was going to Alaska and they were killing as many sea otters as they could. And all of a sudden, all the fisheries were like, hey, we are not having any fish. Like there's no fish in their nets anymore. What happened? And what happened was, well, the sea otters eat the sea urchins. So the sea urchins are at the bottom of the floor, right? And but what do the sea urchins eat? Like, well, the sea urchins actually love to eat giant kelp bases. So like there's a big tree trunk of seaweed basically, and at the very bottom of that, sea urchins come and just eat away at that base, and then all of a sudden all of that space, all that vertical space that is basically like a fishery for small fish in order to grow up, in order to actually like live, is gone. So when fish, when they mated, basically the small fish didn't have any place to hide and they got eaten by the predators really easily. So removing the sea otters made more sea urchins, and the sea urchins just decimated all of the sea kelp. And there was no sea kelp left, and all the seaweed was gone, and the fisheries were decimated. So what they did was they said, okay, no more fishing or no more killing of these sea otters. And what happened? Like, well, the fisheries came back. So we are doing more damage than we understand, and it's impacting things that we don't even understand. And unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where we're not just hunting single species to extinction now, but we are actually driving entire ecosystems or biomes to extinction. So a great example is like wetlands. Wetlands are critically in a critical extinction right now. Why? Well, it's not CO2 ppm. Some of it, sure, but not all of it. It's because of human activity. Human activity has driven developments and on the water, because humans want to live where the water is, right? So, and that's, by rivers, by oceans, and that kind of stuff. So we build houses there. We build over wetlands. So so imagine the trophic cascade then, right? My example was just one species. Now imagine if you did an entire biome, an entire ecosystem. Now it's like, man, we were really messing with a lot of stuff there that we really, really don't understand. Specifically for like migratory birds, for example, where now you're messing with something where it's like you're not just messing with one ecosystem. Now a migratory bird is actually impacting a lot of different ecosystems. So it's very, very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous, man.
No, yeah, okay. I definitely see what you're saying, especially if it's affecting like an ecosystem. So you're basically saying like we're just doing it so radically that the environment cannot even keep up.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't evolve fast enough. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
I genuinely just was questioning it. I just needed, I'll definitely look more into it. I appreciate the conversation, man.
Yeah, man. Of course, anytime. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. All right. Checking the Service Plus DMs, guys. If you have a question, for me, because I really am paying attention. I really do give my whole brain to trying to answer these questions. I'm not a smart man, so I have to use my whole brain in talking. So the yellow or orange arrow down there, right there, I'm looking at it right now. You can DM me, and that creates a DM, and you can give me a question, and then and we can talk about the questions. But in these times, but in the meantime, guys, could we get to 30,000 likes real quick so we can get some people in here? Man, all these people in chat are they're running. They don't want to talk to me. It's so annoying. Here I am trying to be nice, trying to be. I gotta yell, guys. I gotta yell more. I gotta. I don't know. Yeah, Lucy. Again, so it's like the vaccine schedule for Denmark works for them because of their healthcare system. We don't have that healthcare system, so it doesn't really make any sense. What about you? Yeah, I mean, on TikTok, I'm on Dr. Greg show on TikTok. Nebraska. Did you want to call? I mean, if you wanted to, we can get on a call if you wanted. If you really wanted to, I'm down. Here we go. One second, Nebraska. It's just, it makes me so mad to see like, let's do Denmark on vaccine schedule. Okay, then let's also copy Denmark on prenatal care. No. Okay. Let's do Denmark in regards to universal child care. No. Oh, okay. It almost seems like there's an ideological reason that they've chosen this, and they're cherry picking specific countries just to fit a narrative. I don't know. Seems odd. Seems very odd. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yes. It's like, exactly. They don't even respect Denmark as a sovereign nation. They don't recommend Denmark as a sovereign nation that we should respect. And yet we should mirror their entire vaccine schedule. How does this make any sense? It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing, man. There you go, Rabrascal. Hopefully you have Discord. Exactly, Darko. It's infuriating. I know. It's all, man, it doesn't feel like they're actually trying to better the country, guys. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, though. And if you just joined one of those chats, that'll be good. All right, guys, can we get to 30,000 likes, please? Can you also do the hearts and the likes, the reposts? The reposts are really helpful. What else? Oh yeah, the Service Plus, the TikTok Service Plus questions. That also helps us get on the algorithm. The For You pages. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Let's try to do the live goal here. And I like, I don't. What I don't get, genuinely, is like, why are we messing with the vaccine schedule as opposed to trying to reduce the amount of measles in the country? Like the actual problems that that exist today in our country. Like, why not try to address those? Like, what is RFK's decision, and how is he going to respond to the measles outbreaks that are everywhere in our country? Like, that's what I do. I genuinely, it blows my mind that the smoke screen that is going on in regards to this nonsense. Like, why not actually do something to fix an actual problem that we have? The measles, the whooping cough outbreak. What is the rosemary tincture dilution rate that we need to listen to? That we need, how much lavender do we need to put in the water for people to be okay from measles? I've never gotten that answer. If that's possible, could someone please help me understand? It blows my mind, man. Blows my mind. Oh wow, Lisa Arnett, thank you. Appreciate you. At least it's 4 lavender. Thank you, Lisa. Oh, thank you. Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. All the gifts are lit. Oh, thank you. All the gifts are lit up right now. Thank you. That's so nice of you. They're not willing to do any work for anyone. They all defund any. Exactly, Laurel. I think that's the big thing. They're not willing to do the hard work of actually learning, of actually trying to help anyone, of actually trying to solve any problem. Instead, they create problems and say that this is what the idea is. This is what's actually going on. We know that's not the truth, guys. We know through independent analyses, we know through science that we understand what's actually going on. We don't need to have spoon-fed, this is the problem that you need. I don't need that. We don't need that. We can figure out our own problems. I don't need to learn from dear leader what I should actually care about. Okay? I can actually figure out what I need to know on my own. And that was the whole idea through democracy. Those problems bubble up. And we don't see that now. We have these people that are creating disinformation, pushing disinformation on purpose in order to mislead people. So, oh wow, we got to 32. No way. Dang, that was so fast. That was amazing. Thanks, guys. All right. Dude, we're already to 70 people. There you go. Look at that. That really does make a big difference. It really does. It is crazy. It's really cool. I was actually talking to the Service Plus rep. So TikTok contacted me about Service Plus and stuff, and they were saying how, like, if we used Service Plus, we can actually be pushed more on the algorithm on the For You page, and it's actually such a new service that they're actually looking for 10 leads generated a day. So sorry, 10 a week. So if we could do 10 a week somehow, then that would be a good thing. So we'll have to see. We're gonna have to figure out a way. We're gonna have to be using Service Plus way more. No, Skog, 10 Service Plus leads generated a week. A week. So if we did that, then it would work. Yeah. Yes, Heather. I think that's correct. Yeah, it's like it's using it, but then I need to like use it for I need to put stuff in there that like basically gets people's names or something. I think that's the. Oh, I'm sorry, Rascal. Okay, my apologies. Well, the leads, it's Service Plus is basically a leads generation tool. So leads are like for the business people. So I'm trying to understand how I can incorporate it, and that's basically like all of our stuff is going to be put on Service Plus. So we're going to start doing actions and stuff through Service Plus, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it'll be good. So yeah, it'll be very cool. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Oh wow. The purple site. Thank you for thank you for following. My late 80s my baby late 80s had a reaction to her first D tap. Then only DTs can get it now safely. Oh, so it's even more important for you to have that she's not vaccinated against pertussis then. That's awful. Yeah, so pertussis and whooping cough is going around. It is very sad. Thank you, DNC Warrior. Thank you for saying good luck. I appreciate that. We're trying. We're trying out here. I did not hear about the CEO of IRS. That doesn't make any sense. Because see, it's not a company. So I understand. Yeah, Flipty. I think TDAP is you know, you want TDAP specifically for when you have like a pregnant partner too. So if you could, that's what I got my TDAP booster for. I got it again when my wife was pregnant, and it's just a good thing to do. It's just a good thing to do. Yeah, exactly, Azalea. Yeah, rude to people who peddle misinformation that affects others. Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, DNC Warrior. Appreciate you. Thank you for gifting that. He has messed up healthcare, exactly. It's really embarrassing. No, Lucy, it's okay. You're fine. You're good asking questions. It's okay. It's all right, guys. Everyone can ask questions. It's okay. This is a safe space to ask questions. Oh, Mackenzie. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Oh, cool. I love that. That's so funny. That's a cool one. Yeah, it's wild. In the 80s, guys, we used to give more antigens too, like way more. Like the size of the vaccines were way, way, way higher. And but now since they've gotten more efficient and they've gotten the vaccine efficiency has actually gotten way higher, we just give less amount of like vaccines. So it's really interesting. So it's like if you're actually worried about receiving less vaccines just in general, well, like science and medical science has just done that over time because it's more efficient now. That's what the adjuvants and stuff are. That's what they do. We figured out that we can actually give really safe dosages and smaller dosages of the antigens over time, and that's it. Oh my gosh. My in-laws still have their cowpox scar. Wow. Oh, you mean, oh yeah, exactly. From the smallpox vaccine. Yeah, that's wild. Wow. Whoa, Ness. Oh, thank you, Hillary. Thank you. Hillary was the name of my first girlfriend. Yep, it's true. Not you, Hillary, but another Hillary. Thank you, Ness. You're too kind. She was, and very kind and very nice. Yeah. Hillary's a great name. It was a weird time. I was dating her during Hillary Clinton's campaign, and I hate what is up with the misogynist stuff where all the female politicians get called by their first name, and all the men get called by their last name. Like, what is that? It is such a weird thing. I that's why I always say Harris. If you're ever wondering why I don't call her Kamala, like that's why. And everyone would call like, I hate Hillary. Hillary's awful. Everyone's and I'm just like, it was very weird. It was very odd. Yeah. And so it's crazy. Oh, yeah, it's true. It's trueness. What is the sign behind me? Vaccines. Yeah, so these are the amount of our vaccines that we have gotten as a community. So this year so far, I think this is only starting since like September. Almost 1,200 vaccines that we have gotten as a community here because we celebrate public health. We love people who get vaccinated. Vaccinations help you. They help the people around you. It is a patriotic duty that I feel like you have to do in order to, to look after one another. So, Rebrascal in Red Chat confirming the misogyny. It's like, oh, silly. No, silly. I feel like we call it Bush Senior HW. Yeah, that is weird. Yes, it is. How is it counted? Well, people just come in and they say they got vaccinated, and then we celebrate them and we give them a vaccine party, and then we put it up. Our political actions right underneath that. We are a politically engaged and active community. So we're actually trying to fight for vaccine access. This is a great example, guys. This is why our stuff legitimately does matter. So remember in Pennsylvania when we got asked by a physician in order to help ensure vaccine access in Pennsylvania? Remember that? We're still doing that, by the way. We're still trying to pass those laws through the state Senate in Pennsylvania right now to ensure vaccine access for that state. Do you remember what one of them was? So one of them was that so that it wasn't just physicians that could administer the vaccine shots, right? They were saying, because one of the laws that they're trying to do, the Maha people are saying, oh, an IM shot is way too difficult, like too difficult to administer. You have to get that from your physician. Nonsense. Obviously, that's nonsense. An IM shot is, you don't even have to be an RN to administer an IM shot, intramuscular shot, guys. Thank you, user. I appreciate you. The other one, guys, the second one, does anyone remember? It was, we were ensuring that one of the problems that we have in right now that's going on is that as these proud liberal, there you go, fresh cut, yeah, thank you. I am the deplorable liberal that you hate. You should come up and talk to me, though. One of the ways that they are removing vaccine access is removing the CDC recommendations for it, right? So they're removing recommendations, and insurance companies are saying, well, we're not going to pay for unrecommended medical procedures here. You know, we're not going to do that. So people don't get the shots anymore because they don't want to pay $200-$300 for a shot, right? So one of the things that we are fighting for, one of the reasons about 200 to 300 calls and emails are specifically this number, 1128, guys. Those are us contacting Pennsylvanians, senators, and saying, hey, ensure vaccine access outside of the ones that the CDC recommends. We want you to listen to the AAP, the AMA, not just the CDC, because then when the CDC removes their recommendation, I still want those health insurance companies to actually cover the vaccines. That's what we're doing. We saw that the physician that wrote that bill in Pennsylvania saw this coming. We saw this coming, and we were actually doing all we can. 200 to 300 calls, guys. We were doing that fight, that good work to make sure that people in Pennsylvania could actually get their shots now. So guess what? The people in Pennsylvania are going to wake up in a different world when that is passed, because it's not going to matter what the CDC says. It's not going to matter what RFK does. They are going to have access to vaccines, and it's not going to matter what the CDC recommendation is going to be. That's what we do. That's what we do here. We actually do. We're not just a streamer. We're not just a TikTok show, right? Oh, thank you. That's cute. We are a politically engaged community that actually is improving our lives, the people around us, our communities. That's what we're doing here. So we are doing that. We are doing that through this stream, through our emails, through our calls, and we are doing it through our 501c3 that we founded last year. So that's what we're doing, guys. That's what we do here. Oh, what is that? Get out of here. There's a bee in here. What the? That was cool. Do you trust AI in the development of new vaccines? So AI is a really interesting tool in order to formulate hypotheses. It's not going to create just like a brand new medicine just like that, you know. But what it does is that in really small molecules, like really small, easy, you know, antibodies, stuff like that, a small amount of active sites, that kind of stuff, it does a really good job. It does a good job of formulating hypotheses, but they just need to be tested. So I think AI. So and another thing is, to be honest with you, AI has actually been used a lot in the what is it? This must be a big one. It's like it froze the stream. Oh my gosh, where is it? Did something happen? Thank you guys. Wow, you guys are so nice. This is amazing. Thank you so much, dude. Oh my gosh, Rosemary, thank you so much, man. I'm blown away. Thank you. Thank you guys. AI has actually been used in biology a lot. It actually does. So we have, we've been using neural networks and deep learning models for a really long time in biology. I would say like probably 7-8 years now. So it's actually, science has actually been on the forefront there. What we use, ChatGPT, Gemini, that kind of stuff, those are LLMs, large language models. So that's just something that can actually speak to us, and that is the big, the step forward there. But in Science, we actually have been using neural networks, deep learning models, that kind of stuff for a really long time. So yeah. Yeah, AlphaFold is a neural network. Yeah, it's a neural network for this stuff, and yeah, we've been using it for a while. So wow, thank you guys for the gifts and everything. I really really appreciate you. Um, you're very kind. Thank you guys. Genuinely, thank you. Thank you guys. The end user of the vaccine has to trust big pharma, which has a shady track record. No, I don't think so, Jason. There's a lot of people in that process, and it's not just big pharma. So it's the FDA that regulates it. It's the scientific community. It's also, if you're a capitalist, it's also the other companies that actually do what they can in order to make sure and test other people's products. Okay, cool. Okay, now just go into the waiting room. If you just click waiting room, then it should be good. You should be able to join the chat. Invite to voice. Oh, perfect. Thank you guys. Wow, you guys are being so nice. Thank you. Rib. Can I invite you? Can you see the waiting room? There you go. Okay, you're muted. I'm gonna try to you can unmute yourself. Can you hear me now?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Oh, okay, shoot. Okay, Jason, shoot. Okay, someone from Discord just came in, so we're just gonna talk to Rib real quick, and then we'll go with Jason in a second. Okay. You can wait here in a second, and we'll just yeah. So Rib, how's it going? Just give me 10 minutes, Jason. How's it going, Rib? Thank you so much for joining Discord. I appreciate you. Okay, are you there, Rib? You can talk to me. Just I can hear you type. Hi, Jason. Rib, I can't hear you. Okay. I can hear you. You're far away. Did you connect to Bluetooth? Can you disconnect from Bluetooth, maybe? Okay. I can hear you. You're rustling around.
Hold on.
It sounds like you're swimming, but let's keep trying.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can you
There
hear
go.
me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you. How's it going, man? Thanks for trying to and joining the Discord. Appreciate you.
Sure. Yeah. So, how do you not understand that the medical cathedral has lost all its trust?
Yeah, because it hasn't. I mean, medical science is like its own thing, and the scientific community was right on all throughout the pandemic. It's actually the disinformation.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was the disinformation machine and stuff like that, and algorithms that were pushing misinformation. But the science of SARS-CoV-2 and COVID wasn't ever wrong.
So they were right when they said that the so-called vaccines prevented transmission.
Well, they were 94% efficacious to begin with, and they did decrease transmission. Absolutely, they did.
They said it prevented transmission.
No, that's
false.
No, that never actually said that in the medical community. So it was like that's actually a false narrative that was pushed within the anti-vax. Yeah.
Rachel Maddow said it on her TV show.
Is Rachel Maddow a medical scientist or a physician?
Well, she was reporting what the medical cathedral was telling her.
Okay. I mean, that's not true, and it's just not true. So I'm sorry, but you got You got
Oh,
algorithm, bro.
that was
You got algorithm.
no, it was true.
No,
I
it's not
remember
true.
very.
It's not. No, it's not.
Yes, I specifically
No.
remember the message saying that the COVID vaccines prevented transmission of the virus.
In
That was
some cases,
false.
it does. In some cases, it does. So if your viral load is small enough, it can prevent transmission. Absolutely.
And what about the changing numbers of efficacy that Dr. Fauci kept giving? He kept lowering the those numbers. Did he not?
Yeah, because as the mutations like gained, the vaccine did decrease in efficacy. Yeah, so I mean, again, it started out at 94%, which is one of the most effective vaccines that we've ever developed, and now unfortunately it's not that rate. But if people had gotten vaccinated, there would be a lot less people that would have lost their lives in the United States.
Mm-hmm. And what about the mostly peaceful riots of Burnley Mayhem? Did you support Did you support when the medical cathedral put out that statement, giving its support for breaking lockdowns and coming out and protesting?
I mean, because it was mostly outside, I don't think that it was as bad as if everyone was unmasked like inside. But yeah, I mean, I supported people being masked there for sure.
Okay, but I'm just I'm giving you all of these instances of messages coming from the medical cathedral that prompted a lot of us to lose trust. And when I started seeing the lack of articles in the media about natural immunity or losing weight or getting fit in March, April, and how this virus mostly affected, there are articles saying how it mostly affected women. Meanwhile, it was men who are mostly dying. It became very clear that this was an ideological project.
Obviously not, dude. It's a
And
virus.
not
I mean, do you think
science.
that viruses are real?
Yeah, yes, of course. But the whole
I mean,
messaging
a lot of anti-vax people don't believe that viruses are real. I mean, you say of course, but like a lot of people don't. So I'm just
Okay.
saying, like the average age that people lost their life at was like it's like 65 or something. So, but 1.2 million people did lose their lives. Yeah, I mean, do you agree on that?
Sure, but do you also agree that the official COVID death was marked with the virus and not necessarily from the virus? Do you agree that that was the official standard?
No, because how do we measure the amount of people that lost their life during COVID?
You marked it by counting if a person died and they had the virus.
No, that's incorrect.
That's how death was.
No, it's not.
That is correct.
No, it's not.
It
That's
is.
not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. You can look at the CDC, the website itself. It's called the expected death rate, and you can basically we have a normalized like expected death rate that we see and we understand and we know, and all of a sudden, correlated exactly with the pandemic. You have these huge amounts of people that are losing their lives way above that rate. So you have 1.2 million people that lost their lives, more than what we expected, because every single person that lost their life obviously isn't going to be COVID tested. So obviously that's not like a good route to do, right? So that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but that's what happened. The official COVID deaths were recorded.
I'm telling you what the actual. You can look at the CDC data right now.
Okay. It was also said by the head of the CDC directly a couple of years later, like in 2022 or 2023. I remember this specifically. I remember all this vividly.
Dude, you can look at all-cause mortality. You can look at the expected deaths of from the CDC website. It's all still up there. They haven't scrubbed it. I would think they're trying to, but maybe it's gone now. But I mean, I still have the graphs, but that's what the reality is.
Do you agree that the 6-foot social distancing guidelines was made up out of whole cloth?
It's not. No. So you're talking about a congressional testimony where it's like, of course, Of course, 6 feet, whether or not it's 4, 6, 8 feet, it's 6 feet is something that, obviously it's just like a measurement
Yeah.
that they chose, so obviously when
Yeah.
he said that it was arbitrary, it's like whether or not they chose 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, obviously the more is better, right? More would be better, but 6 feet
Okay,
would
I'm
be
just
someplace that's better than
I'm just
0.
giving you all of these examples from my perspective, who entered COVID trusting the medical cathedral institutions and left it never trusting anything you guys have to say ever again.
Yeah, this is just a
And I
Republican
think
thing. No,
you
no,
guys,
it's not.
you got,
It's
fine.
just
It's a
a Rep-
Republican. It's a
Yeah,
Republican thing, but
yeah.
then I have to tie it into the transgender issue. Like, you guys have totally bought into this transgender mania. There's no science behind it at all. And so when you have this combination of things of
Bro, you're just
there's a
algorithm
total
brained, man. You're algorithm brained, man. You got to get out. You got to touch grass, man.
dude, I was on the left for years. For
Okay.
years.
Nobody's perfect. It's
So
okay. I won't hold it against you.
and don't. I mean, so all of these things, the all of the woke issues, all of the woke dogmas that you guys hold as sacred cows, have all of this combined, and the misinformation that was just coming at us left and right during the COVID lockdowns. This is why many of us have lost all trust in you guys. You don't know what a woman is. There's no science behind gender identity.
Yes, there
You think
is. There's
that
tons of it. What are you talking about?
no, there isn't.
Dude, you
There's
don't even
no
understand
science.
bro, you don't even understand the science of a virus. Then how could you understand something as complex as the human brain?
Dude, what is the science supporting gender identity?
There's brain studies, there's brain mapping studies, there's tons of it. I mean, do you think that transgenderism
So you can do a brain scan and determine if someone is transgender. Is that what you're asserting?
No, not necessarily, but the studies show that like if they did a population study of men, women, and trans people, and people that were trans more closely aligned with their their desired gender. So it exists. Do you
It's
think
a
that do you
feeling.
think
It's a
no, it's not.
feeling.
Okay.
It is a
So
feeling.
okay,
And
so wait.
we're ushering these. It's so clearly a social contagion that was born on Tumblr,
Okay.
and that is
Bro, what are
closely
you
related
talking
to.
about? You are the victim of a social contagion that spread on your algorithm, and that you think that viruses are fake, and you don't understand what actually happened.
I didn't say
Like
viruses are fake. Did I say that? No.
You are the victim of a social contagion yourself, dude. You are delusional.
No.
Yes.
No.
You don't even.
What's the science? What's the science behind a non-binary gender identity? Please explain that.
Wait. Dude, the human identity is very complex, dude. The human brain is very complex. I know you
What
want
is
to
the
run.
science behind?
I know you want to run. To your safe place, which is bashing on trans people because you're just getting dog walked on this COVID issue.
It's a lot.
But you can I'm sorry, you're
I'm
like
getting dog walked.
Yes, you are. That's why you ran to transgender people because you're trying to.
No.
Because again, this is something else in your circle, and in your circle, you obviously your algorithm. You guys love to demagogue, against, and you're xenophobic against trans people, or you're xenophobic against the immigrants. So that's probably going to be it next, huh? So we're just going to keep going through the issues of whatever things you get drip feed into your algorithm.
Is there a medical if there's a medical issue related to immigration? Sure, I would bring that up. I don't know of any.
I bet you would.
Yeah, well, they're all related. It's the omni-cause. You think we live in a white supremacy, cis hetero patriarchy, capitalist? All that woke
victim of your algorithm, bro.
I'm
You're
not
the victim.
a victim.
You are.
I'm not
you
a
are
victim.
The victim of an algorithm. Yes, you are.
All right. I'm not a victim.
You're delusional.
Bro, I'm not the one. I'm not the one who thinks. I'm not the
You
one.
have a global conspiracy in order to understand 1.2 million people like losing their lives in the United States, and you fail to understand how public health is necessary for
I'm
you.
trying to. I'm trying to explain to you how you in the medical cathedral have lost trust with a large portion of the population because of these woke dogmas that you hold.
We haven't.
You
It's
have.
no, we haven't. It's
You
just these
have.
MAGA Republicans. It's not. It is just these MAGA Republicans like you.
Yeah, because the Democrats are followers. They'll just brainlessly eat everything.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the Democratic Party that is the brainless followers, as opposed to the right who just thoughtlessly follows whatever comes out of Trump's ass at any given time, bro. Give me a break.
Okay. Well, I'm just explaining to you, and you're not accepting.
I'm just explaining to you how you just sit there and you just suckle on whatever Trump gives you, and you don't actually have no critical thinking skills whatsoever.
That's funny from someone who is totally bought into trans ideology.
Yeah, because
or
trans
thinks
people
black
are real
people are
and
oppressed.
trans people are real and they're my friends. Yeah,
they're real. They're real narcissists.
Trans people are the real narcissists. Well, meanwhile, you would rather wait. So you would rather throw 1.2 million people that lost their life in the pandemic, and you'd rather write all of them off because your precious little shattered ego can't understand that you don't understand what population genetics is, you don't understand what virology is, you don't understand what epidemiology is. You'd rather throw 1.2 million people down the drain rather than actually doing the hard work of actually learning something for the first time in your life. But no, you would rather.
You're getting very upset.
Yeah, because I think that I'm a patriot and you are throwing those people under the bus. Yeah.
Well, I'm throwing dead people under the bus?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 1.2 million of them. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
How am I doing that?
Because you are misinformed and you are being because you're being manipulated.
I'm trying to explain to you why the medical institution, cathedral is the appropriate word.
I don't need any explanations from you. I need zero explanations from you.
Well, that is why your arrogance is a problem. You think you can talk down to.
You're discounting all of medicine, all of medical science, and you're talking to me about ego? Are you out of your mind?
I'm not. Are you
choking on your words, or are you choking on the truth, dude? Sounds like you're doing a little bit of both.
No, I'm not doing that.
Sounds like you're choking in more ways than one. Are you choking on Trump right now? Is that what's going on? Are you on Mar-a-Lago right now?
All right, that's cute.
You okay? Are you all right?
You're
getting a little triggered, aren't you?
You're trying.
You're crashing out right now. Are you okay?
Yeah, dude, I'm crashing out. Yeah. Okay, you got it.
You okay?
Dude, I'm just trying to tell you why
I know everything that you're already gonna say. That's the thing. I don't need you to explain this meta thing. Like, I understand why people are misinformed. I understand why the disinformation that's out there. I understand that you are a victim. I get that. I'm trying to explain to you like what it is. You can ask questions and I can explain to you what the correct answer is, or you can keep human caterpillaring misinformation to me, trying to denounce and talk down to people.
This is so typical. This is so typical of the woke left. You guys always go right for the gutter. You try to present this
right now. Oh, you're such a snowflake, dude.
Dude. I'm crying. I'm a snowflake. I'm crashing out.
Yeah,
I'm crashing out. I'm crying. I'm so triggered. I'm so triggered. I'm such a crying bully.
Exactly. I love it. I love how the cry bullying. I love it. Oh,
yeah. Wow. I'm so triggered. I'm crashing out. I'm a blizzard.
Guess what? I'm giving you
It's a blizzard. I'm a blizzard over here. Crash out.
Look, I'm telling you the truth, dude. People are lying to you, and I'm not one of them. Medical science is what it is.
You guys are in a cult. You guys are in a cult.
Yeah, you guys are sucking. You're sucking off Trump every day. And you're telling me that I'm in a cult. And you don't even deny
Yeah.
it, dude. You love Trump. You just keep you're again over and over.
I
and
didn't say
over
anything
again.
about. I didn't say one word about Trump during
Denounce
this whole
him.
phone
Denounce
call.
denounce the misinformation that he spread from the pandemic. Then go ahead.
No, no.
No, exactly, because you love it, because you are misinformed from that misinformation, and that's how you understand the world. Because things need to be told to you, and I'm telling you, guess what?
Yeah.
People lied to you, and I'm not one of them, dude.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
true. It's true.
Okay. Well, I have nothing left to say.
Okay, you can run. It's okay. Everyone does.
Yeah, crash out. I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out, everyone.
They all do.
It's a
All the
blizzard.
MAGA do. They always run.
Uh-huh.
They always run. That's why I can't. It's so hard to
Alright.
get people in here, because you just can't actually defend yourself and actually have zero critical thinking.
Dude, you're the one who like started to get very emotional, started to get in the gutter. I didn't do any
you're
of that.
cry bullying again. You guys are so fragile.
I'm not crying. Who's
can you
crying?
actually be a man and actually stand here
Who's
and actually
fucking
defend?
crying?
Can you defend
No one's
actually what you
crying.
say?
No one's crying.
Can you actually be a
No
man
one's
for a
crying.
second? Can you be? Are you all right?
Yeah, just find anything in that quiver to insult me, bro. Just try.
Be a man.
Find the words.
Be a man.
Just try.
Be a man
just
for once in your
just
life
pull
and
out
actually do some
anything.
critical
Yeah, I'm
thinking.
having sex with Trump. Yes,
You
I'm
are.
giving him a blowjob.
You are.
Yup, you got it.
Yeah, because you can't think for yourself, dude. You're just an algorithm brain.
What is a woman?
I don't know. What is it?
Yeah, of course you don't know.
What is it?
And it's an adult human female.
Okay, yeah. Which includes trans people. Yeah.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Yeah, it does.
It does not.
See how you ran to your warm place because you were getting dumpstered on your stupid medical science thing?
Yeah.
You see how you did that?
I'm not
See how
really
you did
getting
that?
dumpstered.
You ran. Yeah, you did.
All
You
right.
got absolutely dumpstered. And you're running because of it.
Okay. Oh, dumpstered, crash out, snowflake.
You are.
You got it.
You are. You are. Be a man.
Okay. All right.
What's a man?
All right. I'm done.
Not you, dude. Not you. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
Do you actually want to? Do you actually
you
want?
won. You won.
Do you
You
actually
won.
want to ask
You won.
questions that
You
you
won.
want to know the
You
answers
won.
to?
I'm just calling you about the point. I'm just calling
made
you
it
about the
personal
point.
first, dude, and you can't withstand the heat, and now you're running. So
How did I make it personal? How did I make it personal?
what are you talking about? What do you? It's
How did I make it
wild to-
personal?
is-
How did I
it's-
make it personal?
It is wild.
How
to
did I
me.
make it personal?
You should record yourself. You should record yourself and then listen to it back in the future.
Aha.
This is on
Sure.
YouTube. You
Okay,
can, you
I'll
can
do that.
it. Yeah, you can listen to it again.
Yeah, sure. It's very compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you talk to a lot of scientists? Is this just like something that you're constantly doing, or?
Yeah.
Oh, you
I do it all the
Oh,
time.
you do. Oh, okay. 'Cause so, isn't it kind of weird that you would rather just like sit there and demagogue like an entire an entire
just telling-
like, field of science rather than
I
actually
presented-
try to learn something for once in your life?
Yeah, I presented a point.
didn't.
presented a point.
You didn't.
You
You didn't present a
refuted
single
it.
point. No, you presented misinformation that it helped you try to
I
understand.
didn't present.
I
didn't
tried to
present
help you
him
understand and
misinformation.
tried to talk through, and all you did was demean. And then you got mad and cry bullied.
I-
And then I
I
actually
didn't-
called you out
no.
for it.
That's all protection. You did all that, my friend.
Okay.
You did all that.
So yeah, I'm sure you're gonna persecute yourself. And
You're the
say
one-
like, oh, he's so mean to me. He's so mean to me. That's how you're gonna think about this in the shower when you're just like thinking about what actually happened today and how bad that you did. And you're like, oh, those trans people, man. Oh, those trans people. Oh. You left. Oh, amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming in from YT chat, dude. Anyone that always comes in from YT chat, still always recommended. All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys for let's see, any questions? Let's see if we have any questions. Guys, Service Plus TikTok, we are using Service Plus in order to ask questions in between guests. So while I'm at the guests, you can submit questions, and then I'm going to go through them in between when this happens. So that's what's happening right now. All right. What's the hardest part of being a scientist? Personally, it's honestly the amount of failure you have to go through. I mean, failing dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and then trying to think about, yeah, my Jay, I'm just give me 2 minutes, and then I will absolutely take you as a guest. That's the hardest thing. It's like, is the failure from me personally, or am I contributing to the failure? And that's the biggest thing. Thank you, Azalea. Oh, he's saying in YT chat, oh, you're so mean. Oh my gosh. See, dude. See, bro, I don't coddle you. That's the thing. I don't coddle you, bro. That's the difference. I'm giving you tough love, and you need to deal with it. You need to be better. And like I would talk to you for hours, and you're the one that ran. So again, I'm sorry, bro. I'm giving you tough love, and that's what you need right now. So that's what you're getting, as opposed to this whining. And yeah, that's what it is, dude. That's what the reality is. So I'm sorry you feel that you got, but again. So anyway, so. My Jay, just give me 1 second. As a freshman in college, in my public speaking course, I failed a speech on misconceptions around GMOs and the history behind marketing things as organic. My prof failed me with a note that said organic is healthier, thus more expensive. Thanks for having these questions. Yeah, he's just wrong. Yeah, organic. Organic is healthier and thus more expensive. Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, he's just I'm sorry to hear about that. Medical cathedral. I know. What is that? I mean, it's so embarrassing. Real last question. My Jay, thanks for waiting. Can you explain why natural immunity isn't good enough? Yeah, so natural immunity is going to give you a broader spectrum of antigens. You're going to make antigens for the capsid protein, for the spike protein, and everything like that, versus the SARS-CoV-2 vaccine that's only going to give you the spike protein. But the problem is that it introduces and makes you susceptible to the virus, and you're not going to be that, and basically it endangers you and allows you to have a chance to develop like a serious side effects. So, death, long COVID, that kind of stuff. All right, my Jay, thank you for waiting. I appreciate you.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
Good, man. What's up?
Yeah, you can call me. It's just my nickname.
Oh, I'm sorry. You cut out there right there. I'm sorry. You said you could call me what? I'm sorry.
Midge. That's my nickname.
Okay, nice. Hi, Midge.
Hey. So I did want to go over your number 2 claim there, GMOs feed the world. I guess first off, what do you mean by that claim?
Yeah, so starting in the 1970s, basically molecular breeding has allowed us to create higher photosynthetic rates on plants, and those are used now pretty much universally. So we have about 2 billion more people mouths fed because of that, and it's helped feed the world. So basically genetically modified organisms, they improve native plant functions like photosynthetic rates, and then they also give them new functions, which is like herbicide resistance, pest resistance, and that kind of stuff. And it's helped increase plant productivity, which is the amount of plants per acre that are grown by farmers, and increased photosynthetic plant productivity rates means that we have more people that are being fed.
All right. It seems to me like you're conflating what people on the left say are GMOs versus just selective breeding, right? So you're saying there's only a few crops that would be considered GMO, correct? It would be corn, soy, papaya, rapeseed, a few others. I think there's like 7 total crops. So are you just talking about those 7 or 8 crops, or are you talking about all, like, I don't know the term you use, but selective breeding?
Yeah, so molecular breeding would be like using molecular biology, so using DNA sequencing techniques to specifically like weed out the ones that we don't want, the undesirable mutations, and then selectively only grow the ones that we would want, versus something that with like standard breeding techniques, which would be, you know, the changing of tens of thousands of genes, you know, between like a standard like breeding procedure. So I mean, I do think that, you know, regular breeding is a form of genetic modification. It's just that you're genetically modifying tens of thousands of genes as opposed to like a single one with molecular biology techniques.
Yeah, so like the non-GMO project, for instance, they don't target most of what you're talking about. They target specifically ones where there's like, you know, spliced genes from another organism or something that isn't just, you know, biological breeding, right? So I feel like you're using too large of a term. So I would like to narrow it down, at least if we're going to have this debate, to what the non-GMO project would consider to be GMOs, not just all like, you know, biologically enhanced crops, as you put it, I guess. Is that fair? Or
I mean, yeah. So I guess I'm looking that up. I guess it's the okay. So it's using. So I mean, I guess what I'm familiar with, there's like the European thing of genetic modification, where even if you introduce a gene and then return it to wild type, it's still a line of genetic modification. So therefore, it's not considered. And it will always be considered genetic modification. But I guess the non-GMO project, what is their labeling and what is their contention of what genetic modification
so I mean,
is?
someone I know is connected to the founding of that, but I believe it's just the 7 crops that were like specifically genetically modified, and as it was a labeling project, you see it on, you know, most organic foods that says the non-GMO product on it now, or even non-organic foods that don't have genetic GMOs in it. So it's a labeling movement in the United States.
Okay, so
I think it's the biggest one.
Methods such as segregation, traceability, risk assessment, sampling techniques, and quality control. Yeah, I'm wondering what their standard is. I'm just checking it, what it is.
I mean, I'll concede right now that, you know, science has helped crops. I mean, that's not a hard one for me.
Yeah. I mean, so
what is a GMO? Is their tabs here? This has been subjected to bio. Yeah, that's pretty vague, isn't it?
it's yeah. I mean, I think that genetic modification. I mean, for example, like and I've done this, by the way. Like you can create Oh, okay. Thank you, Michaels. You could make a genetically modified, a non-GM Roundup Ready plant. Like you can do it. It's basically the EPSPS gene within the plant that gives that herbicide resistance. So theoretically, you could absolutely get an EPSPS gene that has those mutations in it that make it Roundup Ready. So I guess would you be okay with standard breeding techniques producing a Roundup Ready gene in a plant?
I mean, your claim is that it's feeding the world. So yeah, I mean, I think I would say that that's not a GMO from how I would define it at that point. I think a GMO would be, I mean, I always imagine, and I'm not a scientist, is they're like, you know, put in some fish gene in there or some sort of gene in there. I know this isn't how it actually happens. I think they tried to do that like with tomatoes and they didn't come out right. They tried to do it with a bunch of crops, but I think it's mainly soy and wheat, which are, of course, soy and corn are the 2 major food crops that use GMOs consistently. I don't think there's a lot, at least as far as the GMO project defines it.
I mean, rice. I've worked with personally rice, potatoes, canola.
Canola for sure.
So
I don't think rice or potatoes are generally considered GMO crops.
I mean, the thing is that people just, I mean, it's been genetically modified, but they don't understand it or know that it is.
thought they used to have a list on here, but I can't find it. But anyways, so yeah, I would just my contention would be that
But isn't that the
the
point
GMO.
isn't that the point that like you wouldn't even know if rice was GMO or GMO free, like and that it's completely fine? I mean, isn't that kind of a point the
Well,
point?
not. Well, I don't think it has been. That's my point. I don't think that
It
there
has
is
been.
GMO rice.
That you can't so okay, so do we have the technology in order to transform it, to introduce new DNA? Like absolutely, we do. We absolutely have that capability. There's actually a lot of plants that we do. So it's just whether or not those plants have like made it to market and are the standard. But they're
Sure, we've done it, but is it used?
yeah, as the standard like plant that people use.
So yeah, I mean, I just googled non-GMO project rice. They said new GM alert. GMO rice isn't on the market, but it's still showing up.
Yeah,
It's not
possible.
commercially available.
It is
So it's
possible.
certainly, I mean, it's certainly possible for all of these.
Not necessarily. No, again, it's not necessarily possible for all plants, in order to genetic modify them, like especially when you're talking about like chloroplast changes and that kind of change. It's even harder. That case, there's only been like I think like 12 plants in the world or in ever that have been transformed in their chloroplast. So, but the nuclear transformation, which is what we're talking about, is much more readily available, and people are trying to do that. So yeah, but it's just whether or not basically the technology and the research and development into the plant genome and that nuclear transformation has yielded something that is like tangibly better for farmers.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. Like maybe being herbicide resistant is technically better for some of these crops. I would just say that most of the crops for soy and corn actually go to feed livestock. They don't go to feed humans per se. Most of it is going towards that. I think it's like the bulk. I think it's like 70% of it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I wouldn't say that it's feeding the world per se. I mean, unless you're saying it's feeding the cows that are feeding the world, I guess that's valid.
Yeah.
But I think if we didn't have them, it would actually just mean more labor, right? People would have to till the fields more manually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe food would be more expensive. And I agree. Obviously, there's been huge breakthroughs, golden rice, all those things, but those were not
I have
GMO, right?
The genetic, no, that actually is a case. So the golden rice is actually a really interesting example. I'm glad you brought it up. So golden rice was an enhanced rice that had vitamin A fortified inside of it, just kind of like how whole milk is fortified with vitamin D. Like vitamin A was fortified in this rice, but because of anti-GMO hysteria from Europe, basically that never actually happened in Africa.
Yeah, but I think there was anti-GMO backlash against it, but I don't even know that it would be considered a GMO, at least according to.
Absolutely, it absolutely is. Yeah, because that vitamin A is made inside of the rice because of genetic modifications. Yeah.
So they didn't use it in Africa because Europe got mad about it.
Europe is incredibly basically anti.
Yeah, Europe is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
okay.
Europe is the most stringent guidelines on genetic modification.
And do you think that's because they're worried about cross-pollination? We don't know the end results of what might happen with what could happen with things that are spliced together.
That maybe also, I think it's just I think it's unfounded. Whatever it is or whatever their reasoning is, I think it's unfounded in general. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would just say maybe you can reword it, but I agree that I don't think GMOs are the end of the world, but I do think they don't currently feed the world, at least as the non-GMO project defines them. Specifically, it's only 7 crops, so it's not like most of our produce is GMO. So that's why I would attack your premise there.
I mean, do you know about the Green Revolution?
I'm not sure what you mean by that now.
Yeah, check it out. The Green Revolution. I just pulled up the Wikipedia. Basically, the Green Revolution or Third Agricultural Revolution was a period during which technology transfer initiatives resulted in significant increases in crop yields. These changes in agriculture initially emerged in developed countries in the early 20th century and subsequently spread globally until the late 1980s. In the late 1960s, farmers began incorporating new technologies, including high-yielding variety of cereals, particularly dwarf wheat and rice, and the widespread use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and controlled irrigation. So it has significant, huge impacts on yields, and that's what I'm referring to
So now you're
specifically.
conflating organic food versus GMOs specifically, right? Because this happened before GMOs, the Green Revolution.
Yeah, I mean it's during, again, it's like that dwarf rice and the dwarf wheat, I guess, like, but anyway, I guess that's
There's no gene splicing or foreign DNA, I guess, for any of these that you're talking about right now.
I mean, I would still say that it's still like molecular techniques that confirmed and were used in the creation of these, the dwarf wheat and rice, because they're using DNA technologies in order to, like, do the breeding and stuff. So I would still, but you're right, there it's not transgenic, like, necessarily, but they're using in using molecular biology in order to weed out all the possible end products and trying to pinpoint which ones that they should use.
Do you think it's important to have what's it called, like variants in our corn and all of our crops, like to continue to have new innovations in these crops?
Are you talking about like genetic diversity within the crops? Or are you talking about like monoculture? Or are you talking about
Yeah, like going not having just monoculture crops throughout the United States and Europe and Africa.
I think it has a really interesting applications. Yeah, I think that monoculture, you basically, modern farming has a lot of crop cycling. So they'll have like legumes or something in because of the nitrifying bacteria that bring down atmospheric nitrogen into the soil and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think I think it's interesting. I think the plant productivity rates seem interesting. So I think more and more people are exploring that. Yeah. But I think in general, like, I mean, what I really think is going to happen in 20 or 30 years, I think people are going to start moving farther and farther away from farming, and kind of like more towards like fermentation and microbial ways of making materials, because fermentation, you can dial into the percentage versus, like, being a farmer, you have a lot of exogenous problems that can kind of be given to you, right, through climate change, through through a lot of runoff, from upstream farms, that kind of stuff, and it can have huge detrimental impacts on your yields.
Yeah, I think the concern with lack of biodiversity is just that there could be some plague or some disease or some sort of event that attacks all of it at once. So I guess that is the concern that a lot of people have with it.
Usually that's for kind of like a wild species, because they're not like maintained and stuff. But yeah, you're agreed. You can have you're definitely more susceptible to like tobacco mosaic viruses and stuff like that if you can. But we have molecular techniques in order to try to detect those viral outbreaks that are happening in our crops.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just a lot of biodiversity that has been lost, as we go towards, bigger farming and monoculture and Monsanto. And I agree that it has fed the world more of that. I would say that it's not GMO though. So I think your prompt is still wrong. But I think we've labored that point. I would just make one point. I agree that organic food isn't necessarily healthier. A lot of big organic crops are, I wouldn't say that they're any different. Big organic producers are still just big farms. But I'll tell you, my fruits at my local food co-op, where they hand select which farms they're buying it from, they know exactly where it's coming from, or from my farmer's market, taste a hell of a lot better than the ones I get at Safeway, organic or not organic.
I mean, those like the Safeway stuff is all going to be imported from China. A lot of it, it's not going to be local. So yeah, we a lot of their stuff that we make here is actually shipped to other countries. So they're not local at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for having me up. Unless there's anything else you wanted to
Yeah,
touch
man.
on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate you coming up, man. Yeah, thank you. All right. Going through the TikTok Service Plus questions here, guys, seeing between here while we wait for someone to join. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the 100,000 likes. That's amazing, guys. That was very cool. Thank you. Thank you for the the hearts and the reposts and the shares. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We're coming to the 2-hour mark, so let's just do a quick thank you to and shout outs to the people that are supporting the stream. Thank you guys so much. Let's get this guy out of here before we do that. Shout outs. Real quick. Thank you guys. Thank you to all the super fans and the mods. Thank you to Brian F., Helen, Mrs. Dr. G, Russell Bowden, Ado, Call Me Ness, Rapture, MB Human, Meg, Dave M. Thank you to the top all-time supporters of the stream: Aeronautical, Kathleen, Bobby Kohler, Efon, Sheepadoodle, Reg Mayan, Marliston, The Miller, Susie M. Vecchio. Thank you to the top people of today that have been supporting us. Rosemary Tincture. I think that she left. That's why it's not showing her there. Thank you so much. Thank you to Mackenzie, Heather, MB, Helen. Thank you so much. Thank you to the top likers. Thank you so much to Azalea, Mackenzie, Kwong. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. All right, back to the show. All right. Boom. We're back. We are so back. Rosemary Tincture. Yeah, that was one of the people that was gifting. Yeah. Is that, oh my gosh, is that actually someone from, is that a fan? That's so funny. I know. I'm so bad. I was like, wait a second, what? Wait a second, what? Exactly. Oh my gosh. That I think that's our first name with the stream lingo. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. San Onofre. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you. Oh man, it is. It is. That's so good. Thank you. That's so funny. Oh man. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't even realize. Chupacabra, thank you so much. All right. So funny, man. What a time to be alive. Okay, I'm actually curious. So what let's see, what by percentage, how many of crop plants are grown that are transgenic versus non-GMO? Let's see if that's true. I thought I read this in multiple places, so I'm kind of like re-finding it, and I'm totally fine doing that. So thank you for seeing if that's correct. So let's see. All right, guys. What's your take on Monsanto? I think that they exploited some farmers by not being, and a lot of people in like India, for example, a lot of people in India didn't understand that the restorer gene was knocked out, and they weren't going to be able to make more corn with their corn, so they kind of like went bankrupt, and they're having huge problems like that. So I think that is a problem, and So I think that that's not ethical. I think it's really tough. Nice. I got my Hep B booster today. User 80076233766315. Let's go. Guys, you haven't had a vaccine party for a while. Let's do this. Let's do this. Amazing. All right. All right, guys. You know what to do. Here we go. All right, guys. You know what time it is. In 3, 2, 1. Yes. Dude, thank you so much. User 80076233766315. Getting your Hep B booster. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. We do MAVAs or V's in the chat when somebody gets vaccinated because we love vaccinated people. We appreciate you for looking out after yourself, for people around you. And your sister got the flu shot. Let's go, NB. That's another one. Here we go. Let's give it up for the NB Human's sister, guys. 3, 2, 1. Yes. Nice, Mava. Make America vaccinated again, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that so we can celebrate that person. So GM crops accounted for 36% of global plant coverage overall in 2023. So, and they're 78% of cotton, 75% of soybeans, 33% of maize. Wow, I thought that would be more than that for corn. And 24% of canola. Wow. I know, exactly, Shawnee Flytrap. How are they trying to say that they're making America healthy again when they're bringing back more and more diseases? Measles? Yeah, this is... but for regional variation, so in the United States, adoption rates are far higher. 92% of corn, 94% of soybeans, 98% of cotton, 100% of canola, and sugar beets. Nice. Brazil and Argentina also exceed 90% adoption for crops. Interesting. Cool. The global percentage are lower because most GM production concentrates in North and South America, while most of Africa, Asia, and Europe grow predominantly non-GM varieties. Yeah, Azalea, Two-Spirit Native Americans listening to Rib earlier. Yeah, I know. I didn't even want to. Sometimes, man, like, you know what? I'm prepared to have that debate, but at the same time, I think it's unfair to allow these. Hey, Gail, it's unfair to trans people for them to constantly be the debate, and I think like letting him run to that, I didn't even really want to engage with it because it's just like, it's not fair. And I'm sick of my trans friends having to constantly go into every space where now it's a debate on that stuff. And I'm just sick of it. And he obviously didn't know what he was talking about with COVID. So he was running to that, and it's not okay. Thank you, MB. Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, exactly. I think trans people deserve to have not every political argument come into that issue. It's just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it personally. I'm a neurophysiologist and I pretty much support what you're doing. Oh, cool. Jay, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Yeah, there's a lot of scientists and researchers and physicians in our community. So you're welcome, dude. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Very cool. Nice, man. Exactly, not sure. Yeah, we have never observed a generation where humans aren't conditioned and forced heterosis. Exactly, not sure. I mean, that's my example. That's why I bring up left-handedness a lot, because it's like 300 years ago, people weren't allowed to be left-handed, and now left-handed people are allowed. And wow, the rates are so high. You know, so was it the right wing the right wing mafia or something that made that happen? Like, obviously not, right? So, yeah, it's insane. Exactly, Hazel. Yeah, when they can't argue the point, they head straight for transphobia and racism. Exactly. Yeah, the bigger point and what connects it all together is algorithm brain rot. That's just what it is. We are all victims of our algorithms, and that is obviously we are hearing it firsthand what it is, and it's wild. I know, exactly, Exalia. Exactly. They're such a small part of the conversation, and they get brought up every time. I know. Just let them live. Just let them live. My body, my choice. Does it translate in all areas? Yeah. Yeah, it's my body, my choice, and I choose for you not to spit measles in my face. So that's my body, and my choice is that you don't spit measles on me. So yeah, it does. They want to beat people down and feel superior to people. Yeah, Chupacabra. They feel like, and you know what it is? You know what a lot of it is? It's a lot of insecurity, because they look at someone that's trying to find who they are, that's trying to improve themselves, that's trying to, create a body, a reality, an environment that more readily aligns with how they feel inside, and they're jealous. They're jealous of that. They're jealous of the journey and the path that trans people are going in order to improve themselves in their mind, right? And they're jealous because they feel stuck. They feel passed up. And I genuinely do think that they are right wingers are jealous of that journey that people go on. And yeah, everyone should, and that genuinely, that's why I talk so much about compassion, about leading, not castigating someone aside, because everyone is on their own journey of self-improvement. Everyone should be. If you're not, what is going on, right? And for some people, that includes education, gender hormones. That includes education. That includes physical activities like sports. That includes a whole host of however it is. You know what I mean? And we should allow people to explore themselves, to explore a journey of self-exploration. And that's okay. It's okay to question everything about yourself. It's okay to question what you're doing in life, how you're doing in life, what am I doing in my career? What am I doing in my job? How can I reallocate my resources and my attention to more readily align with what I believe in, who I am? I think that's totally normal, and that's okay. Yeah, Michaels, there you go. MAGA don't seem to have any compassion. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, MB. It can include whatever anyone needs or wants. Exactly. Yeah. Robbie, come on down. Oh, guys, I don't have a goal. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly right now. All right. I mean, I feel like I am like genuinely from like 18, like 16 to 35, kind of. I mean, I'm a different person every year, you know, and I do feel like in my older age, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more solidified. It's harder for me to learn and to see that stuff. You know, absolutely. But in general, you know, I think like especially 18 to 18 to 25 for sure, 18 to 30 absolutely. Every year I felt like I was a different person, trying to improve myself, improve who I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. Absolutely. And yeah, it's just been a journey of finding who myself, what I am, who I am. And anyone that is willing to go on that journey of self realization, actualization, then I support that, and I love that, and I feel that. What's wrong with me? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going through, guys, we're going through the Service Plus stuff right now. So if you want to give me a question and we can, between the debates, the best way to give a question is to give your question in Service Plus. So there is a science thing I want you to read. Oh, okay. Can I use a site that has connections to the study, or do I need to find the study itself somehow? There's a human trials website.gov, the humantrials.gov, that, and you can find that. Or scholar.google.com probably is the repository of a lot of that stuff. So yeah. What do you think about heirloom seeds or vegetables? I think they're awesome. I think that, like, you know, like in like gardens and stuff like that, that's awesome. I love the idea of like having a personal garden with different types of tomatoes or cucumbers or something like that. I think it's really cool. I think it's amazing. You know, but you need to, in my mind at least, we're separating out kind of like the needs of feeding billions of people versus the needs of like me as a horticulturalist trying to make something cool in my garden that I really love. I mean, you're probably not geeked out to like grow something that's a corn that you get at the grocery store already, right? So it's like, you know, you want to do what you're passionate about, what you want, and like, you know, that cool connection of planting something and seeing something that's new and all that kind of stuff. I think that's awesome. And do that. Why was it important for you to go for your PhD and not say your master's? So you want to go. So ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be the most learned I could about whatever subject I chose to do. So I always wanted to go for my terminal degree. And in my field, That's the PhD. A PhD is in academia in general, by the way, PhD is the ultimate, the top degree, because you're creating new knowledge and you're giving back to, that knowledge base and that giving back to that institution. So I always wanted to get my PhD. And even actually when I wanted to go to medical school, I wanted to get my MD PhD. So, because I just wanted to do that. And practically, I actually would not recommend, if you can go to your terminal degree, you should always go to your terminal degree. I think there's amazing value in keeping going, because you can create and become a world expert in that subject. And if you are a world expert in that subject, I genuinely think that that's always going to be a good thing. You can always create and market that and use that, and just the process of becoming that expert and going through the literature and reading and assimilating that knowledge is always going to be a good thing, even if you can't, even if it's not a good, even if it's a very niche, right? By definition, your PhD, you are only going to be the world expert in that thing. That's what a PhD is. So there is no other, to my knowledge, there is no one other that's like a Chlamydomonas DNA nanotechnology delivery expert like me. But there's no jobs that have that. There's no businesses that if I, in my PhD, if I actually did make a huge contribution, you could spin that out into a company, and then that's how you become like the CSO of that company or the CEO of that company, and that's how it happens. I didn't have a huge impact in my PhD, so I wasn't able to do that. But that's what it is. So I would always recommend doing a PhD in STEM, always, every single time. There are some career paths where master's isn't, like journalism, for example. That is the highest degree attainable in some fields. Yeah, there's PhDs in geology, absolutely. Yeah, I knew a lot of them, and they actually were using microbes. They were actually a microbiology in our microbiology program, and they were working with geology labs, because that's one of the ways that they can figure out. A lot of those people work for, by the way, they get poached by oil companies, by the way, because you're studying the microbial communities that exist in these oil vats, right? The oil in the ground, a lot of those have microbial communities and stuff in them. So you're actually kind of figuring out what's inside them and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff. I think that, the biggest thing. Oh, Lady K, come on up. What is the molecule hanging on the wall? So on this side is caffeine, on this one, and then this side right here, this is DNA. This is DNA, and then this is caffeine over here. Why do you think so many conservatives / MAGA love the Bible but are so against others when it supposedly teaches to love everyone? Such a good question. They're not very Jesuit, are they? Really, some dude? That's crazy. I will think about that. I will see that. Oh wow, that's cool. I think for most people, religion becomes a way that they lack critical thinking, and they get supplanted by their brains kind of get that neural process of religion kind of gets supplanted by the power structure of authoritarian governments, for example. It's very similar when you're in the pew and you have a preacher telling you what to think about the Bible and an authoritarian that is telling you what to believe about reality. I think that those thought processes and that structure in their brains is very similar. So you have, unfortunately, a lot of people that their religious conviction, which started off probably in a good spot, or maybe as a child they didn't think about, now it becomes a way for people to take advantage of them. And I think it's awful. I mean, my mom dealt with this a lot, where she felt very othered for caring about the teachings of Jesus Christ as a Christian. And it was actually kind of wild. She was talking to me like in the later years of her life and loving the Pope and what the Pope said. And she was like, Greg, maybe I'm Catholic. And I was like, Mom, you can't just like become Catholic just because you like the Pope. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I'm pushed out at church, and I don't agree with what these guys are feeling and saying about immigrants and minorities and that kind of stuff. And I was like, you should probably just change churches, one. But it's, yeah, it's really interesting. It is, yeah. So it's really tough. It is very tough for people that are more Jesuit in their teachings. But this is what I think of, this is why I call myself like a Christian atheist, because I don't believe that Jesus Christ of Nazareth was the Son of God, but I think that he had some awesome things to say about like greedy, gluttonous billionaires being inherently evil. I agree with Jesus when he said that. I agree with the caring for one another, looking out for one another, love thy neighbor, trying to create and better a community by with compassion and love, and trying to consider the best of people, and it's weird as a Christian atheist to come to that conclusion when the people that are believing it at firearm point, right? They're basically saying like, you better believe this or you're going to burn in hell forever. They don't believe it. They don't believe the teachings of Jesus Christ. And yet I do. So it's like, in a way, as a Christian atheist, I feel more Christian than they are. And it's like, it's a really weird thing in my brain. Because they're doing it with the threat of heaven and hell. I'm doing it because I want to be a good person. So at the end of the day, I genuinely do think if there is a God, I think that trying to be a good person is going to be better than believing that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. And hopefully God and my mom will help and welcome me into heaven later if that happens. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see. But I'm not like worried about it. And I still don't think that that God exists, or so I'm a strong atheist. But hey, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be a good person and try to look out after one another, and that's just kind of the end of it in my brain. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. How many Christian scientists do I know? Are you talking about like Christian Science, like the religion, or are you talking about like scientists that are Christian? Um, like at the biotech and stuff in my PhD lab and the biotech, like we basically all talk about like being an atheist and how much, it's like wild to be kind of like scapegoated for our views of atheism and stuff like that. So it's like the vast majority of people that are scientists are atheists that I found, or they have like a completely bifurcated brain, so much so that religion basically holds. Okay, yeah, you're just gonna get banned. I'm just gonna mute you, dude. I was gonna let you up. I just wanted to finish the sentence, but you can just be muted, dude. What is wrong with people, man? What is wrong with people? Joy, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Guys, let's give it up for Joy. Getting your flu shot. 1194. Guys, amazing. Let's go, Joy. In 3, 2, 1. Good job, Joy. We love people who get vaccinated in this community. We celebrate you every single shot, every single time. We love public health. We love people that support public health. So thank you for what you do. Oh, yeah. He's trying so hard. Nancy, it's so funny you say that. I pray someday you'll have an experience that will be revealing and show you Jesus. I was like, dude, so I was like 12 years old. I was in church and we're in Sunday school, which is very rare. I always, as a kid, even when I was like 7, 8 years old, I always wanted to like go with the adults. So I didn't like going to Sunday school at all. So I would always go in with like the main people. And I see you, Tony. And then so I was in there one day and I was at Sunday school and they were like, anyone that, wants to welcome Jesus in their heart, let me know. And afterwards we'll do it. And I was like, okay. So I stayed afterwards and I told the guy, I was like, I'm down. Let's do this. And he was like surprised. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what's up? Like, maybe this is what I've been missing. I haven't seen anyone in my heart. So I'm like, this is maybe my opportunity. Let's do this. So he, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, maybe this is like a big thing. I can't wait to see what happens. Like, what do I see differently? And I seriously was like maybe 8 to 10 years old. And all of a sudden the guy just like puts his hand on my shoulder and is like, may Jesus come into Greg's life and, show him the way of the word and God and make his life better and everything. And I'm like closing my eyes, bowing my head. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, amen. And I was like, that's it? I was like, that's it? Like that's all. You just prayed. That was nothing. And I'm like, okay. So I like open my eyes and I'm like, I don't know what I'm expecting to see. I have no idea what I'm expecting to see, but there's just nothing changed. Nothing changed. I'm like looking around and I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? And I was so let down and nothing changed because of it. And I was just like, it was just like so lame, so it's a little bummed. Yeah. A household member just tested positive for influenza A. Should I still get the seasonal flu jab? Yeah, for sure. Also, I would ask that person to mask, and you should mask too. for sure. I'm an astrophysicist. Oh, cool. Okay, Nancy, cool. Thanks, Heather. Nice. Dude, what is up with that stale bread? Like, what is that? It's like croutons. They're like giving you freaking croutons, man. It's awful. Yeah, I think so. Ghostbusters, yeah. She's an astrophysicist RN. Wow. All right. Amazing. Okay. Tony, you dropped? I did both. Wow. Okay, cool, Nancy.
I had
Hi,
a
Andy.
church that, yeah, at a church that I was wondering if you've heard of. It's called Mission Gathering.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I never heard of it.
Okay. I find them particularly interesting. I went to 2 of their services when I was living in San Diego after my mother passed, just because that's how I connect with my mother. If you, look them up. So they consider themselves inclusive, right? But a lot of churches do. But when I went, they were more than inclusive. They were radically left. And what I mean by that is on Easter, instead of having a ceremony about, and this is going to piss a lot of people off potentially, but instead of having a ceremony, a traditional Easter ceremony, they talked about trans people and trans rights and about the attack on trans rights, and weaved it into about how Jesus would have been very upset with people. And they also talk about the scrolls a lot. I guess they're permanently closed. I just recently saw, but so about the scrolls and about original translations, and I don't know, it was just really cool to see like a church like that. And I just wanted to say one last thing before my ramble ends. The thing that is interesting about them is that they believe everyone on earth goes to heaven. They have like this interesting belief that this is kind of a version of hell that we're already living in. Now we have enough trials and tribulations already, and yeah, we all go to heaven and we all get granted that mercy. So I don't know. Yeah, just wanted to see your thoughts on that.
There's like the Humanist Unitarian Church or something. Universalists. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
No, it's not just that. It's more than Christianity. I think it's a non-denominational thing. It's like
because they were.
I looked at their website and they're specifically Christian, but the Unitarian Universalists aren't necessarily. They're not Christian.
Well, they were also talking like they were also like I don't want to mispronounce it or say the wrong thing, but like Judaism. He was also quoting specific things from Judaism, which I found to be interesting.
Okay. Hi, Michelle. How's it going?
Hi, Dr. Greg. How are you?
Good.
Very nice to speak with you. Thank you for having me up. I do have a question. I am Catholic, okay, and I was just listening to you, but I raised my daughter Catholic, but late in high school, she met an atheist best friend, and her faith changed where, like you, she follows, Christian values, but instead of believing in a God the way I taught her or she was taught, she believes in the energy and a higher power and stuff like that. And I was just wondering from you, how did that happen for you? Because it sounds similar. And my other question on top of that would be, you mentioned that you follow the Christian values, but you don't believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I understand that, and I battle with all of that stuff myself as a Catholic, and I'm not supposed to, and I don't agree with everything. I try to do what I feel is right in my heart on a lot of issues, and some issues I don't agree with, but I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. But how do I put this? Why can't you do both? Like, just in case kind of thing. Because that would make me feel better anyway for my daughter. I know it's semantics and it's a little silly, and I do understand it, but in my heart, that would make me feel better.
Yeah, this is something that my mom wrestled with a lot. Like, she was like said multiple times that it was like she had multiple dreams of me like coming back and becoming a Christian and stuff, and believing in God and all that kind of stuff. And I guess it's just like it would require me to lie, and that's not very like moral, you know. And it kind of like, I mean, as a kid, I mean, my teenage years, you know, I was always, and even as like a elementary school kid, you know, I'm really interested in dinosaurs. I'm like interested in science and how the world works and all that kind of stuff. And it's just more and more not from religion, right? It's just not from the Bible and all that kind of stuff. And it's just started to be an ever more receding point of how I understood how the world worked, to the point where I had heard, you know, someone say this, and it was just a really good point. Like, if you just, you know, close your eyes with me, and then if you open them, like, what can't you explain naturally? You know, what do you need God to explain? And you really don't need God to explain anything. You can, there's, you know, we have everything around me is created by man. How we understand the world is all created by science and that knowledge base. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I was kind of like, you know, I went through my agnostic phase, which is, I think, so there's like Gnosticism and agnosticism. So Gnosticism is like, I know that I have proof that God, or that there is or is not a God, which is impossible. You're never going to have positive 100% proof. But so we're technically all agnostic. But colloquially, kind of like in our society, we refer to agnostic people as like, I just don't know. I'll just kind of never know. And I kind of went through that phase too of kind of like, oh, you know, I'll never kind of know if there is or isn't a God, and like I'm okay with that. And there is kind of like a spiritual realm, and I feel like maybe there is something like connecting to us. And then you know, in my early 20s, I actually didn't drink or get elevated until later, until I was about 21. And then I went through a phase of eating things and, you know, trying to figure out the doors in the wall kind of thing. And I was on one of those trips and realized that kind of connectedness that we all feel as living organisms is the fact that we are all living organisms. Like, we are all connected through the journey of life. And I kind of like woke up from that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just, there is no God. I'm just connected to everything in that way. And that's when I really kind of like solidified kind of like my atheism, I would say.
So there's no fear of your soul for not believing, like, you know, on that part? Because that's what bothers me the most. That's what like gets me, because I'm like, what if you do everything right and your kid does everything right, and when the time comes, it's like, I don't believe in Jesus, so you can't come in. And I find that hard to believe that it would be that way, because then what, Jews wouldn't be allowed in heaven? You know, that's where my mind goes with that kind of stuff. I know I say I'm Catholic, I am a Catholic, I am raised Catholic, but I also have a common sense to me in some things. And with the science stuff, it's funny you mentioned that. in my freshman year in college, I think I had like a science class that had evolution in it. And, you know, my mother was furious. I didn't care. I was just like, Ma, it's just science. And the professor on the first day said, we're not going to talk about religion. We're going to make believe that, no, we're going to say that there is a God. Let's just say there is a God. And this is the way he might have done this.
Okay.
And that put a close to it in my mind. And I carried that with many, many things along the way.
Hi, Ness. How's it going?
Good morning.
So I get like how I understand this is like the question in my mind. It's like you are picking, and this is it Pavlov's wager? I think that what this is called. The idea is the why not? What's the worst that can happen if you believe? But what's happened is that you have chosen one out of like 3,000 different Pascal's wager, one out of like 3,000 different religions that have existed in human history. So it's like you in reality, it's not a 50-50 chance that you have. It's a 1 divided by 3,000 chance, which is really, really small. Because the question I could ask to you is like, well, why don't you just believe in Zeus? Why don't you just believe in Yahweh? Why don't you just believe in any of the other gods that have existed throughout human history? And what the reality is that people who grew up in whatever country during that specific time, that's going to correlate with their God of choice, not the correct God. So if you, as a religious person, grew up in another country right now, you would probably just be believing what they believed, and very rarely would you probably be like a Catholic or a Christian in these cultures or these scenarios.
Yeah, I have a friend that's strictly very Catholic, and we go back and forth because I say to her, like, God is God, and I don't think God matters if you're Catholic, Jewish, or any other religion, or Muslim. It doesn't matter. It's God, and we all worship, like you said, it's different upbringings.
I agree with all of that, but can I? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ness.
No, not at all. Go ahead.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? So, and if I strike a nerve with any of this, like with anything personal with you, just let me know and we can switch topics. But you've seen someone like at the end stages of their life, correct?
Are you talking to me or Dr. Greg?
Oh, no, Dr. Greg. Dr. Greg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. During the end stages of their life, did they have any like experiences where they were like talking to like deceased loved ones, or like anything that would be perceived as potentially like paranormal? I'm just wondering how you quantify that. Because for me, like when my mother passed, I don't want to give too much detail because there's 137 people in here. But there was just a couple of different things that happened. Like she said something to me that nobody on this planet knows, not even her, that happened in my life that caused something in my life significant, like a behavior or a habit that nobody knows about. And she said it to me on her deathbed. There was something else. She called out to my deceased father. There's this, 144 people, so I'm going to stop there. But there was, there's a list of things that she did that I cannot explain without a God, right? And so for me, I was an atheist until her death. So those types of scenarios, how do you explain those? Is, I guess, what I'm asking.
Yeah, I would say that even if I personally had a religious experience where I literally saw Jesus Christ of Nazareth in front of my face, and he was like, "Greg, I am the Son of God. This This is for real. I'm like touching this guy, like it just the, but I am the only one that has this." I would still not believe in God. I would think that there would be some type of, scenario like a something wrong with my brain and stuff like that. I firmly
Right.
believe that there has to be like some type of like more than one person, more than one thing, and I think like some type of correlative like event like still like wouldn't like mean that I would believe. So it would have
Can
to
I
be like population wise. Go for it, Ness.
can I just jump in? Well, there's something that on this subject of like what the brain will do. Have you ever heard of night terrors? So night terrors is, they call it, in the olden days, they used to call it having a witch on your chest. And all it is biologically is that your brain has woken up, but your body hasn't. So our body goes into paralysis when we sleep to keep us from hurting ourselves while we're, unconscious or whatever, sleeping. And sometimes they don't wake up at the same time. And it's a terrifying experience. And the only way that the mind can process that is, well, there must be something sitting on my chest or a demonic force. And you will often hear, noises in the room that your brain will interpret as threats because it can't move. And it's an absolutely terrifying thing to have happen. I've had it happen to me, and I was so freaked out because I've been an atheist for such a long time, and I was like, holy shit, maybe there are demons. So I jumped on the internet and I read about it, and then it happened again a few weeks later. And I remember reading that if you can just recognize what's going on and calm down your subconscious, you can have amazing experiences like lucid dreams and all kinds of things. And I managed to do that, and it was amazing. And I bloody well wish it would happen again.
Wow.
But the point I'm making is that sometimes the brain will create scenarios to explain things that can be easily explained by science. And I think a lot of the things that perhaps, and I don't want to discount the lady who was just speaking before, I don't want to discount your, what happened to your mother or what you experienced on her deathbed. For, goodness knows I'd never do that. But a lot of times the brain can just surprise us by the things it picks up on and the things that it will invent for us to deal with difficult situations.
Yeah.
I'm just saying a lot of people have these experiences like in hospice, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, what's the explanation for that?
Because the brain is dying. It's on its way out.
So
Or the
how
body
did
is
she-
dying and the brain is trying to compensate. It
how
would be
did
my
she have-
suggestion.
But how did she have that information? There's nobody on that planet that would have that information. There's no way, like, so, like,
You might be surprised on
to
what
me,
parents
it's
pick up on.
supernatural.
Yeah, but maybe it's but
But that's my opinion.
Maybe it's something that's vague enough, that creates like some connection in your brain that you weren't thinking.
It was
about
not vague.
before.
It was very specific. I can't say it on this live, but it was like this happened to you, and because that happened to you, you now have this specific behavior.
Hi, Heather.
Hey.
Yeah. It's hard to know without
I did,
details.
and I'm so sorry, but I'm going to get off the live in a second because you've got quite enough people up here to chat with. But I did want to speak to Michelle briefly because I had exactly the same experience as your daughter.
Oh, okay. Great.
When I was a senior in high school, I made a friend who was raised atheist, which blew my mind because I grew up in the South in the US. And we thought atheism was akin to devil worship. Don't get me started. But basically, I remember her saying two specific things to me, which I later learned she got from Christopher Hitchens. And she said, first of all, the reason I don't believe in religion is that religion suggests that you ought to be nice in order for reward. So do good things so you won't go to hell. Be a nice person so you won't burn in hell. And she said, I would just, is that real goodness? Or should you just be good to be good and nice to people and kind to people to be good? And then the other thing was, she said that religion for her positioned humanity above all other living things. And whatever religion she was
Lord, she sounds
referencing
like my
at the
daughter.
time. Sorry?
I said, she sounds like my daughter.
Yeah. So, and I don't remember what religion she was referencing at the time, but she said that she was told, she went to some religious thing or whatever, and she was told that her dog would not be able to come to heaven with her. And she was like, and for me, that was the last nail in the coffin. What kind of heaven has no dogs?
And for
I
me, my
100%
dogs
concur.
are in heaven, so I will see
Yeah.
Natasha and Sasha again for sure.
Well, good. Absolutely. I will see all of mine as well. But I think that was what spurred me on to do a bit of reading and research. And the bad news was, as much as I wanted religion in my life, because I had a fairly shitty childhood, the more I learned, the less I believed. But I think for me, it really was this principle of, is it real goodness if you're being good in order to be rewarded? Or is that just inherent, self-serving? Inherently self-serving.
I've actually pondered that myself, because when I was a kid, everything was you do good to go to heaven, and if you do bad, you go to hell.
Exactly.
I remember my first confession in like first grade. What am I going to tell the priest? It was I stole a pencil in school. Like, do it 3 Hail Marys. I get all that. I do, but as I got older, the switch changed in me. I don't do it to go to heaven. That's a nice perk, but I do it to be a good person,
Michelle,
Well, you never know. She might switch back, but I just
Well,
wanted
it
to
would
come
make mommy feel a lot better if she did, but I don't think that's going to happen. I was just curious on how you get to that when you have been raised with some religion and you were taught heaven and hell. How do you just forget that part of it?
You don't. It's
I think
there.
when it becomes no longer necessary is when you forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I will jump off now, Dr. G.
Okay.
But Michelle, if it makes you feel any better, one of the other things she said to me was that if there is a God, he will recognize that I am a good person and not punish me for not believing in something he never was able to believe.
And I feel that way too. And it's, Catholics, Christians believe you have to believe in Jesus, but many religions don't. And I don't believe people that are good who don't believe in Jesus aren't going to go to heaven.
So there you go. She will be fine either way.
Okay, darling. Well, thank you for your support and your wise words and comforting words. I appreciate that very much.
No worries. Good luck to you, Dr. G.
You
I won't see you tomorrow, Dr. G. It's my birthday. I'm sleeping in.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. 25.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Definitely. Thank you very much. You're a liar, and I love you for it. Okay. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.
Happy birthday.
And Dr. G, I'm going to go as well. If that's okay, I'm going to leave now.
Michelle, thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you. I really appreciate you letting me come up and speak with you. I had a great time. And I love, just so you know, I love listening to you late at night when I'm going to sleep. I listen to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye. Awesome. How's it going, Heather?
Good. I was just gonna say, like, to some of that stuff, like, I was born into, raised Christian conservative, and all that stuff. But I don't know. I was pretty well protected, I think, from like the hell, the demon talk. I feel like, but as I was little, so I don't know if this was like stuff that got into me because parents talked about it, but like I would have these dreams that were like pretty terrifying to where like I was awake, right? And so I used to think that God, and I was super little, like I was in first grade, I thought God must be really upset at me, or I did something bad because he's not protecting me, right? And so there was like all this shame, like growing up, I must be not good enough or whatever. Anyway, I also was having like sleep paralysis, which I think MB was talking about. And then like also a lot of lucid dreaming, but sleep paralysis is super weird. But I finally figured out over the last few years how to like talk myself out of it, to like, no, you're not sliding off the bed. No, there isn't a thing at the end of your bed like making these scary monster sounds. It's super weird. But anyway, everybody just left. The whole panel just left. So like, gee, never mind. But
no, I felt the same way when I was a kid. I used to be so weirded out that the fact that there was a God inside of my head. it was so
Yeah.
really, really freaked me out. Like it was, I remember like you know, figuring out that I didn't want to die. You know, that was like a big thing for me. And then like the second big thing was like the whole thing with, because then what do they say? You know, what do you say when your kiddo is afraid of dying? It's like, oh, it's don't worry, you're gonna go to heaven. And then the whole thing with
Yeah.
God, and then you're just like, wait, God's in my head right now? That's so I can't escape that. And we've actually had I had that conversation with my oldest, and talking about, you know, he doesn't want us to die, and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
die, and it's like, well, this is actually the premise of the movie, The Invention of Lying, with Ricky Gervais, and basically at this moment, it is with his dying mother. He goes, well, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna see all your loved ones soon. She's like, what? It's like, oh, you're gonna go to heaven. And she's like, wait, what's going on? And I thought about that at this moment, and I'm just like, man, it'd be so easy to tell my son right now that it's like, oh, don't worry, don't worry about this. But I feel like that's lying, and
Yeah.
I got to tell him, hey, it's okay. And that's why life is so important. What we do every day is so important. That's why it's important to be kind to one another, to look out after one another, so, and I think that like he really matured that day, trying to, deal with that. And what I remember becoming an atheist, I was like, it was wild. I felt like my, like, I felt free.
Yep.
of like this shackle because
Yes.
a lot of times, I think Hitchens describes this, or Dawkins, it's like religion gives you the disease of thinking that humans live forever, and then they're the same ones that give you the antidote, which is heaven. So the real problem isn't necessarily religion, it's the fact that souls exist, that are the idea that humans are somehow different and that souls are forever. That is the actual really pernicious part about religion. And then people kind of fill that, that antidote with whatever religion they want, right? And I remember just feeling so free about like that, like, oh my gosh, I don't have that in my brain anymore. I don't have that disease of like having to worry about like, I gotta get to the right spot, so yeah, it's really
Well,
weird.
the thing is, like, even if we tell our kids, like, even if you told your kid that, like, oh, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. We did the same thing to our kids, but the thing is, they still worry about it because the kids, like, back then we were still going to church. Our kids were going to church. They heard always about heaven, hell, because just as much as they've heard about heaven, they've heard about a hell, and it's scary, and they've been told it's scary, it's for the wicked, blah, blah, blah. And the entire time you're in church, in like Christianity at least, they're constantly moving the needles to the point where, well, my friend goes to the Assemblies of God church. Oh, well, they're not real Christians. Oh, well, my friend is a Democrat. Well, they're not a real Christian then. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
the needle is always moving. And so, and really if you stand back and you say, okay, look, so an all-knowing God who loves his creation created people knowing that probably a huge majority of them, or even if half of them, or even if 25%, he created them, 25% he knew they would not, quote, choose him or believe in him, and he was okay with condemning his children to hell. The moral problem we come into contact with, like my husband was saying, and this is like during our deconstruction period, was like, who am I as a father to bring children in the world knowing that they could potentially make the wrong choice and choose an eternity in hell? Like, what kind of a father am I? And then and also, what kind of God is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's either a God of love or he's just an asshole. And the way Christianity and church became in my life, it was constantly putting all these barriers. And it's like, dude, at this point, none of you should be able to believe or trust that you're going to make it in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you get all upset and angry and point to others so you can feel better, to maybe reinforce your thought of like superiority, like, oh, I will make the cut.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's very harmful. And that whole thing, that whole vice, that whole situation makes you less and less like Christ-like, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like if you want to admire Jesus, who Jesus represented, the spirit of Jesus, then go and do that. And that has to be enough. But honestly, if it's not enough for some people, there is no reason for the best Christian in the world to believe it'll be enough for them, because God set it up for failure.
Yeah.
And that means God made imperfect thing. So that is why the Bible, that is filled with contradiction, all kinds of just excuses for men to be terrible to minorities and women and children, you know,
Yeah.
excuses to have war and all that stuff. It's just became really unimportant. And there was so much guilt that I had trying to like, oh, if I'm a Christian, I have to be this way. And then it's like, oh, you know, in 2015, it was all about like equal rights, equal marriage and all that stuff. And people telling me, no, you have to be against gay people. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I just can't do that. Like, I'm just like, no, because I'm rigid in this like justice thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand why Christians weren't. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, hey, it sounds like a God problem. It sounds like his problem, not yours, not mine, not theirs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like
it's very weird, like how like what humans have been around for 300,000 years, and Jesus came back the last 2,000 years. So what happened the last 298,000 years? All those humans are destined for hell. Like, dang, man, it sucks. Like,
it's so weird.
That's very odd. That doesn't make much sense. I mean, I do feel like religion. I mean, we can explain religion through evolution. There's computer modeling that shows that religion like is good for that population of organisms, because it, you know, people are looking out for one another, they're defending one another, they're sharing resources with one another. So I do feel like, but now, you know, we are kind of, as humans, kind of like post religion in a way that we don't need it and to explain things anymore. You know, just there is kind of, I don't, and I think it's kind of obvious true too when you think about new religions too, like Scientology or something like that, which is like a new religion that's not Abrahamic, and that's like, I mean, nobody takes that seriously, right? Nobody's going like, well, I just got to make sure. I just got to, nobody's doing Pascal's wager with Scientology. Like, oh, I just got to be Scientologist just in case, just in case, just in case it's correct. Like, nobody is doing that.
It's just like this status club. Like, I guess, like, if you are so rich, you're so bored and you have to find meaning.
Exactly.
That's your club, I guess. I'll never understand that.
Exactly. Yeah, they want
again,
some
like,
metaphysical realization of like, but how does my money make me better than people? And it's
how am I important?
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's like this ego narcissism vesicle for people to kind of like take it, into the future. It's very weird.
Yeah. I think like I still have moments where I guess it's like a framework pattern, like it happens in the background, like something will happen. And instead of just being like, oh, it's an obvious no, I get that worry that comes through. Like I need to ring it through the Christianity standards, I'm like, whoa, 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 stop. Because it was traumatizing. And honestly, it is traumatizing to be female and raised in that stuff because the burden of everything is put on you, even as a little kid. You know what I mean? And so, so it's hard to break some of those cycles. But like, yeah, I'm to a point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, if Christianity is real and that God and that's what exists, I don't want to be up there anyway. Like, sounds like boring as hell. LOL. Just kidding.
No, for real.
But-
I mean, it's like imagine the best party that you've ever wanted to be at, and you're like, oh man, I'm so excited to be here. This is incredible. Now imagine you can't ever leave that party. You can't. Does it sound like, okay, you're doing everything that you wanted to do at the party, and now you can't leave it, and you're like, but I want to go. Can I just? Can't. Nope. You don't. You're forever at this party, and now it's like, okay, well now this isn't a party anymore. This feels very weird to me. I can't really.
yeah.
I'm not having fun anymore. If I can't leave, so.
Doesn't sound very authentic, right?
Yeah, and I
Like-
think that
like,
this is why
what's the whole point?
by far the best religion is Mormonism, because you become your own god on your own planet, right? Which is no other religion is giving you that kind of like,
Men. No.
post-death.
Men become God,
Yes, yeah, exactly. So,
not the women. No,
Exactly.
we get to be enslaved into,
so it's like, I don't know other. It's interesting.
we get to be virgins forever.
I don't understand like all the other religions. Like once Mormonism dropped, I felt like they had to do kind of like an update, be like, you know what? Yeah, we gotta up this a little bit. We gotta say.
Here's your free coffee mug, man. Like, for joining. Yeah, it's actually, I mean, if I step back, I could say that, like, hey, obviously it seems like there is some sort of order to this creation. You know what I mean? Could I say there's a creator? Sure. Something probably, right? But do I think any religion explains it? No, I do not. And if they do, it's very disappointing. But you know what I mean? And if we think about like these religions, they've all come before we've had like the access to science, right? And now that we have the science, whew, man,
Exactly.
things don't fit together very well. And so it would be interesting if Christianity ever just did an update. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Catholicism is, right? But Catholicism, and I mean, it's like the progressive version of it, where they can do kind of like updates to the, this just in, guys. Actually, this is what it is, and that's so. I mean, Mormonism has that, and like they had the update in the 1980s. That's like black people are okay now, and it's like, oh, well, there you go. And you actually see the same thing in like Shiite Islam and versus Sunni Islam, which is Shiites are like kind of more Catholic, where they have people on earth that represent the actual word of God, versus Sunnis and Christians are they go or by the book, and that's what the book is, and there is no new people on earth that actually speak for God. So it's interesting that even like both of the religions both are like kind of solve that problem a little bit.
Yeah, like when I was in 5th grade, super weird. We just moved to because I was born and raised in California, and then we moved to Washington. So in 5th grade, we just moved. I just meeting like new people, and it's Eastern, more Central Washington, maybe but it's very Mormon town, and it's crazy. It's like this small town with like 7 Mormon churches. Was insane. Anyway, I remember my neighbors telling me that Jesus died of old age, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Wait, what's happening?" And it was so weird. And then like their dad picked us up from tap classes or whatever, and I was like, "No, remember you said Jesus died of old age?" And she's like, "No, he was crucified on a cross." And her dad was like, "No, sweetie, we used to believe that Jesus died of old age."
Oh my God.
And as if I was in fifth grade. And it literally, I mean, that was insane to me. Yeah, it was wild. I had first never heard of that before, but yeah.
That's
So he
wild.
actually corrected it. And, they lived on my same street. And so, yeah, that was wild. That was pivotal because I've never, ever, even Christianity, never seen anything like that before. And ever since, nothing.
Yeah, because
So.
after he's crucified and then rises, he goes to North America with John Smith, and like that was the whole thing, right? To found Mormonism. That was like the he's reborn again kind of thing.
Oh, like he was
that-
reborn in Joseph Smith?
Isn't that what happens with the Mormon like religion? I thought that was the whole story and how.
Oh, beats me. I can't remember anymore. Plus,
Yeah.
I've heard so many different things because I grew up with all these Mormon friends, So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very, very weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Muslims say he
agree.
wasn't crucified. I mean, Jesus is actually in the Quran as an actual. Joseph Smith is the founder of Mormonism. He isn't born into Joseph Smith. I mean but the idea is that after he's died in the crucified, he is born again, and then Jesus goes to North America, founds the Muslim religion, and then rises into the heavens. So, Jesus is a character in the Quran. By the way, he's sitting in an island in the Mediterranean somewhere, waiting to come back again in some period point in time. It's very, very weird.
Does he need a helicopter or?
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
He's
He's
like
just
waiting. We'll
He's
send
just
him a
waiting.
boat,
Yeah, he's
a
waiting.
whale.
He's waiting. Lucy, I don't believe in souls, so I don't. No, it's all. I don't believe in anything supernatural. So, I just
Ooh.
think that we're just. This is just us. We're just carbon bags. Of
Something
water.
with a carbon bags. That's hilarious. My skin suit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something that they were saying, I think MB was talking about, so I don't know if this is morbid. That's kind of how I am, but for any of you guys who are interested in the death and dying process, there is somebody like hospice nurse Julie, and she does talk about like visioning and how it usually starts to happen like anywhere from 3 months to a few weeks up to a person's like dying. And they're usually they still don't actually really know what causes it. They wouldn't say it's chemicals because usually these people are actually still just fine. They're still walking, talking, whatever, you know what I mean? They're not in their like end stage and stuff. And so, but there is some weird things because I've noted, like I was helping my friend take care of her dad who had glioblastoma, and the cancer just came back, and it was like, it was bad. It was definitely like it just grew everywhere. And but he literally had his first visioning with me, like waving to his friend who had died like 6 months before him. And we were like, who are you waving? Are you waving at me? And he said the name and stuff. But it is very interesting, and it's usually peaceful. And then I remember like within like it was probably 3 weeks before he passed, we were in his room helping feeding him, and he was like, what's with all these people here? Like, and we're like, do you want us to ask them to leave? And he's like, I don't know. No, it's okay. They can stay. And there was just like, he's just looking towards the door and just all these people, but he wasn't like worried or upset about it, but like it tends to be, yeah. So my mom said that my grandfather seemed to be very scared. And I think he was like an atheist, and I think he's had like did a lot of harm in his life, and he knows that. And so I think, yeah, but usually it gives people like comfort. They see friends or family or pets that have passed or whatever. And I also think that Americans were not good we don't talk about this process, so we don't know what to expect. And so if it's happening to us, it would be really terrifying because there's not a lot of education. Or it happened to somebody that we loved and we watched and we didn't understand what was happening and we interpreted, oh, that must be scary.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes out, anyway, but that's sad, but I really hope it does bring people comfort. And I don't believe in supernatural stuff. However, I've had like a lot of weird experiences and I keep running into mediums who are not like, ooh, I'll tell you your fortune. They're not like that. They're actually like really nice people and they're not like out to get money or whatever. And 3 of them, I was just friends, right? I didn't bring it up. 3 of them all said the same thing at random times to me about this little girl who's always around me. They're like, oh, like you don't know there's a little girl? Like I've seen her everywhere, like, you know, at your work. And then when we met in the parking lot for the blah, 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 and like it was very odd. So I don't know. It is weird. I wish I could believe it because it sounds kind of fun, but I don't. I can't.
Yeah.
I tried.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for coming up, Heather. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys. I'm gonna try to get back, go to bed a little earlier tonight. I got jujitsu in the morning. I went with like 3 hours last time and I got absolutely smashed. I normally get smashed, but still, it's like nice. I'm trying to find Ruben. Yeah, you think yourself of how can you think of yourself thinking if no spirit and soul? Yeah, just like a natural process, man. Neurotransmitters in my brain. Yeah, there's no energy. I mean, there's like an electrical pulse that exists within your body. You know, that is what the EKG machine, and that's why they like shock your heart and stuff. But it's no spirit or anything. No spirit. I don't think that the world we live in is supernatural. No. I mean, you can't the air. You know, we can't see air because we have our eyes evolved to, you know, view between 400 and 700 nanometers. It's not because you can't measure air. So. Yeah. So can consciousness be an energy? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. You can't measure soul. I don't believe in souls, so there you go. So can energy disappear or does it just change? I mean the laws of thermodynamics show that it just changes, I think. So all right, guys. Thank you guys. Real quick. Okay, let's do Debbie Foley real quick. Hi, Debbie. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. I just love this subject, and I kind of have a funny story, but one that got me in trouble because I am an atheist. I was working in an office, and it was kind of about the guardian angel thing. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to a bunch of girls talking about how they were on the freeway one day and her friend missed this exit, right? And she decided to get off the freeway before anybody else they were following, and she took the exit off, and there was a horrible accident in front of her, and her guardian angel saved her. Mm-hmm. So I got in trouble because I looked up, because I'm an atheist and don't believe in that stuff, and I said, well, what were the guardian angels doing to the other people when they got in the car accident? And they all turned around to me and went, Debbie, how could you say that? And I said, well, where were they? Why did that guardian angel work and not the ones for the ones that were in the car accident? Exactly. And nobody had an answer. But they all hated me from that point forward because they knew that I wasn't, a believer. And I mean, I kind of left it alone, but it's always a story that I tell because it's something that I believe.
Yeah.
And I had put earlier, my mom had this thing. She loved Houdini because he said if he ever died in a thing, he would come back. He'd find a way to come back. My mother died very young. And she said, if I die, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. She had that kind of personality. And I go, okay, Mom. Well, she died in 1982. I've never seen her. She's never been here. She's never come back. I have such a hard time with religion, and I'm married to a Catholic man who totally believes the opposite of what I believe. And when we first met, he said, oh, you have a blind faith. It's blind. And I said, well, is that bad? My faith is what I just believe I'm a good person. I live honestly. I do the right thing. And I'm either going to get, if it's true what you say, I'm going to guess, if I die, I'm going to get forgiven or not.
Exactly.
If it's there, it's going to be there. And if it isn't, it isn't. And I get so many weird reactions from that stuff. And I just find it amazing. I find it amazing. But I feel like I'm the sane one when I'm talking in a group like that. Like I'm the one that, like, you guys are all living in some kind of fantasy world about what's going to happen. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be all right. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
If there's going to be pearly gates, I'll be good. I'll be what you guys say, them, forgiven, I guess, because that's what they tell me. Oh, well, he'll forgive you anyway if you didn't accept him into your heart and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Well, okay, then why am I worried? Then they get mad at me for saying that. Because, well, you didn't take him into your heart, but you said I'm going to be forgiven. I never know the right answers to those questions. To how to answer correctly so I sound, what is it, smart enough or intelligent enough or what I believe or that my beliefs are real.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to say it's just going to come back to faith, so you can't.
Right.
That's the thing. So it's just, I was last year, I was at a huge block party. It was like the biggest one. I was so excited. I met a bunch of these like dads and stuff, and we had a really cool like connection, and we were all like hanging out. And then one of the dads comes up to me and puts his hand on me and he says, like, Greg, are you Christian? I want to pray over you. And he put his hand over me and prayed. And then I was like, it was really nice. He was like, yeah, I was really great to meet you. This is amazing. Really cool to hang out. I can't wait to hang out again. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And then it was like, it's like 10 guys and then, and me. And then afterwards I was like, oh, that was really nice. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm an atheist.
Thank you.
I'm atheist, but I appreciate it. And then they were all just like, what? You're an atheist? Like,
what?
No. And then
I know.
It was so funny because it was like, it reminded me of like early 2000s, like internet debates of like Christians versus atheism and stuff like that. And then the guy who prayed over me like went to the bathroom, and then one of the other guys was like, oh, you know what, dude? I actually questioned my faith too. Don't worry about it.
I know.
But then, dude, guess what? Guys, that's just completely ghosted me afterwards. They're nice. They're nice and like cordial and stuff like that. But we were like buddy before that. They wanted to hang out all the time, do a weekly thing, like smoke cigars together, like all that kind of stuff. And then just I guess the invitation got lost in the mail, and you're just like,
because they don't want to look at what you think. They have their own beliefs. I mean, like I said, even my own husband has that. He's born, raised Catholic. He never pushes his beliefs on me, but we've had conversations and he knows how I am. But it's interesting because it's just, I listen to him and I go, well, okay, that's really, really good for you. that's great. If that's what you believe, that's okay. And I'm okay with where I am,
Yeah.
with my blind faith, as he called it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It and I kind of liked it. I thought, okay, yeah, it's blind because none of us know. I
Yeah.
mean, if my mom could have come back and told me, or if anybody has come back and ever told us, guess what? I wouldn't be blind anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they call me Bob. I think that's it. They're worried. I didn't want to debate them. They kept asking me questions that night, and I felt bad because I'm just like, I mean, and then they were like, "Well, we're sorry for," and I'm like, "Bro, I mean, I felt like it was my birthday. We're having like,
Right.
like a 10v1, like,
Right.
stuff about religion. I'm like, dude, I'll take about this all night. This is amazing. But they didn't like it. So yeah, I
No,
felt, so exactly.
they don't. The people that I hang with, on holidays and stuff like that, it's an old group of friends. They all kind of know. They all, they go to church. They're all great people, but they all know what to leave me out of, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
and, and it's okay, and I'm fine being left out.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much
Anyway,
for coming up. I appreciate
yeah,
you.
I just wanted to tell that
Yeah,
little tidbit
it's great. I love it.
of the guardian angel thing. Like, how come they only take care of some people?
Exactly. All right, have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call it earlier than I have been. The last time we went until 2:30. I didn't go to bed until 3:30. I was up at 6 in order to get to jujitsu, and I was just like, I could only go 3 rounds out of the 5, and I was just like gassed. But I hadn't done jujitsu in like 3 weeks, so I'm just like, blah. Is human resonance an energy? I don't think that there's any energies outside of supernatural stuff. I think that there's like, I think there's living things. I think that there's living things, and that's like, things that evolve with the genome. But I don't think that it's necessarily resonance. I don't know what Schumann's Earth's energy. Sorry, I thought Schumann was a typo. I don't know what that is. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't believe in the metaphysical. Yeah, it's just us. It's just us. It's just us. We're just hanging out. It's kind of boring. But like, I think that's why it's more cruel. To be mean to someone, to be the cruelty in it, and that's why it's more awful that we allow awful people to be held unaccountable, because there is no eternal hell that they are going to burn in, right? This is we have to hold people accountable for the here and the right now, because there is going to be no universal arbiter at the end of this. So I think that it's that's why it really makes me mad. Like, injustice in the world makes me even more mad because of that. Have you ever looked into Buddhism and Buddhist cosmology? Just in passing, I haven't like read it in depth. Yeah. That's why I had to leave the church constantly. Had to be draw lines and wish them well. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, cool. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Darko. Appreciate you. Perfect. Oh, greetings. Hold on. This is our heaven. This stream is our heaven. This is our lab meeting, guys. This is our coming together. Just kidding. I would never say that. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming in. Let's do shout outs again. Last time. Dude, why? It's so weird. I know that there are a bunch of people. Maybe they left. I don't know. Guys, thank you so much to the mods, to the super fans, to Brian F, Helen, Mrs. Dr. G, Russell Bowden, Ado, Call Me Ness, Rapture, Envy Human, Meg, Dave M, Aeronautical, to the top all-time fans and supporters of the show: Aeronautical, Kathleen, Bobby Efon, Sheepadoodle, Regmine, Marliston, The Miller, Susie M. Vecchio, to the top gifters of the night: Heather, Envy Human, Helen, Ducray. Thank you to the likers. Guys, we got to 130,000 likes. Thank you so much. User 8007623376315. Azalea. It's Mackenzie. See you tomorrow, Mackenzie. Quang. Thank you guys. Thank you. We did it. Another one. Another one down. They did it. All right, guys. What an anniversary. What an awful day in American history. And what a stream. We cannot, guys. I can't keep MAGA in this stream. I don't know what it is. They're so scared. They're scared. They're scared of coming up here and talking to me. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. They're all so scared. What do I do? What do I do? I don't get it. We're all just so nice. I don't get it. We're nice people. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out tomorrow. See ya. Bye. See you guys. Thank you.